not possible to be in love with or love two people at one time. Me myself, I'm always transparent. I've been in a poly relationship before, so But I was asking Price, give us your opinion on it. How is it possible? Is it possible in the meta, and how does it go in reality?
Yeah, so poly loving two people essentially is definitely possible. If you just break it down to its simplest form and think about your life in general and the people that you love multiple people. So when we're talking about monogamy, it's a choice to only focus on and nurture a relationship with one person. But a lot of people, we're kind of, I don't want to say groomed, but that's the word I'm gonna use. We're kind of groomed into monogamy, like through religion, through the government. You get tax breaks, military, you get benefits. You know what I'm saying, for being married. I personally know people when I was in college, and some people was going off into the military. They literally got married for the benefits. They had a kid for the benefits. It's kind of wild to say, but that was a thing. I know people personally that did that. But like back to you, like being able to love two people, if you put yourself in that situation and you and go into relationships with intent, not just trying to fuck around and just in there to get some ass, and you in there to really build and grow and learn from other people, it is extremely possible and is extremely beneficial. Because if you think about it, when you have two different people, you know what I mean, because a lot of poly relationships, the two people that you're involved with, or however many people it is, like they're different people and you probably love them for different reasons. I know, speaking from personal experience, that was for me. I had a wife. I'm currently separated, going through a divorce, unfortunately. But she had things about her that I loved, but I was missing something. I didn't know what it was at the time, and it caused a lot of arguments and everything. We eventually got to the point where we opened up our relationship, and I actually found someone, and I fell in love with this other person while still being in love with my wife, the mother of my children, and everything. And while I was in a relationship with the other woman, as well as my wife, my relationship with my wife actually got better because this other woman was teaching me things that I hadn't learned, that my wife hadn't really told me. It's essentially you get another perspective. You know what I mean? So being in a poly relationship is definitely possible, and you should go into those relationships with intent and trying to learn something from it and grow and experience other
So
people.
before I get to I got, for me, I have West Side and Bruvius over here because they're gonna go at it, right? So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
before I get to them, why do you feel like, why is this such a stigma? Because this is my thing. So people cheat unhonestly. They mess with multiple people without
Mm-hmm.
being honest, right?
That's another
So
point.
why does as a community we feel like if we do it honestly, it's not. Why do you think people feel like if you do it honestly, that ain't gonna work? Who's gonna sign up for that?
What you mean being honest? Hold on. Can you rephrase that
So
statement
okay,
real quick?
so people cheat and have multiple partners by
Yeah,
lying.
got you.
So when they're honest to say we're gonna have multiple partners, people feel like that's not possible, but it is possible to have multiple ones without being honest and saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
I'm with you and you." So what I'm saying is like, why is it possible to do it in a way that it's not honest, right? But when you say, "Well, no,
Mm-hmm.
I told everyone, each person that I'm with, we're all
Yeah.
aware and we are very comfortable," and people be
That's the
like,
part.
"No, that's some bullshit. Ain't no fucking way. There ain't no way you with these people and they all cool with it."
Yeah, tell them mind their business. But I mean, seriously, tell them mind their business. Like before we had to redo everything. You know what I mean? I made the statement that there's no. I mean, you can be monogamous, you could be poly. You know what I mean? It's your life, it's how you live it, it's how you want to show love and receive love. And that's another point. Like me and my wife didn't speak the same love languages, so we did feel like we didn't love each other, but we knew it though. Just by the actions and stuff like that. But when people like talk about cheating and compare it to poly, it's two different things because, like you said, when
And that's what they
everybody in the
think it is.
situation knows, yeah, it's not
And they
cheating
think
at
it's
that
about
point.
sex.
It's an
And they think
agreement.
it's about
It's
sex.
not. It can be, but it's not. It is not about sex. It is
West
about
side.
learning other people, growing. Oh, you got something to say, bro?
Yeah.
You want to chime in?
I'm,
You shaking your head? What you doing over here behind my back?
No,
I'm listening. I'm listening.
no,
I'm listening.
but
Hey,
okay, so the
Hov a
same
real dude,
question.
yeah.
But listen, between Hove and Dean, I know where we're going, so that's why I wanted you to go first because we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be, So West Side, as
So
far
that's a
as
valid point.
being
Oh, go
in
ahead.
love, I'm talking about however you would treat that one woman that you are gung ho over. Now you have two. So is that possible?
Um, I'm going to preface this. For me, it's not possible
Mm.
because when I love somebody, I put in my all. You have every bit of me in my being. So for me to give that to two people, somebody's coming up short in my eyes. So I feel like I was gonna get that cigar, but she got that. But I feel like I can't give my all to two people, and that's just me. Some people say they can, but I know for me, I definitely can't. And um, at the end of the day, you just got to know yourself. Some people can, some people can't. I'm not gonna knock it, but I know for me and mine, I can't do poly.
I know respectfully that being that you can't, and I know you said you feel like somebody's gonna come up short. But before I get to Dean, because once I get to Dean, it's why why do you feel because Price made up a point. You have family members that you love. You got different, you know, people within your friendship bonds and things like why does it have to be different romantically?
I love that I have for my mom is not going to be, or my brother, my sister, cousins, is not going to be the same love. Well, unconditional love I would have from my wife. It's not going to be the same.
I feel that. Can I ask you a question
All
though?
right.
What's good, bro? Go ahead.
Can I ask a question? So, if you have two different women and they love you the same, because I feel like what you're kind of saying, and you're entitled to your opinion. I feel you, my brother, and everything. But like when you're talking
Mhm.
about two women in the love, if they're both loving you the same and you're able to give your all to one, do you feel like love is limited or is it limitless? Because you said with your
Golden, come
whole
on, get
being,
on
my
in this
brother.
seat,
You said with your whole being.
Mr.
So we
Golden
talk about your
Rays.
whole
Come get
being.
on in this seat over here.
You know, your being expands just this present state right now. You know what I mean? If we want to get real deep into it, you know. So is your
I
love
mean,
limited or is it limitless?
My
It's a tough
love
question.
is limit is not limited for one person. But again, if I have to spread myself out, and then it
Mm-hmm.
goes deeper, it goes deeper down to it too. We talking about finances, and we're not even gonna talk about that
Oh no, we
because a
can't.
lot of
so have
people
you already
say
told
a lot of
yourself that I'm not able to love two people, or you like have you just already told yourself like that's not
no, I can't.
possible? Because you know once
I
you
can, and I won't.
okay, Neuro, Neuro, come on, because
Oh
I
boy,
gotta
oh
put my
boy.
brother
I
right.
was just having this conversation with somebody. I was just having this conversation with somebody. Um,
Talk about
it's
it.
I'm gonna say it like this. One, I don't have anything against anybody's personal relationship because it's a choice that you make, and I want to make that
Mm-hmm.
very clear. Because let me tell you, y'all came ham for me on Instagram. Let me tell you, but I don't have anything against anyone's relationship. That's your personal choice and what you choose in your life to be happy, and it's not my job to dictate that. Inside of a relationship, though, you have to figure out with yourself how much you're willing to spread out because love is not the same per person. And when you say like they both love you the same, they don't. You have to realize that a person has their individualized intentions with you. And it doesn't matter how much you show that love or how much they're showing you that love when you're in the moment. When they separate from you, their intention is something completely different. So, yes, you can love two people at the same time, but the intentions around the room with inside of that triangle are completely different. And although you're getting your cup full and it's filled up, they're not getting the exact same thing. And it becomes in
Right.
a selfless sense. Are you saying to yourself that you're incapable? Not that I have anything against what anybody's saying about their personal relationships, but are you saying to yourself that you're incapable of fully investing into one person and that person fully investing back into you? If not, then what you're saying is that unfortunately you don't know how to manage one person fully investing into yourself, that you have to divvy it out and spread it wide and thin. The love that you have for relationships with other people are completely different. And was said absolutely very well, Mr. West. Because the love that you share for a family, a child, and a friend is not the same intimate relationship that you share with a person that you decided that you wanted to share most intimate thoughts and process with. And those are completely different things. Now, give and take. Some people like to be out here just doing their thing and calling it whatever. But then I just found out there's different kinds of poly relationships. And those relationships endure a lot of other things. But they also give selfishness and not a selflessness. And there's a big difference in that. And I don't think that people have really in tuned themselves into being selfless. And I don't mean selfless just because you're giving yourself out to more than one person. I mean truly selfless within inside of yourself. Because you have to be able to be that secure in order to maintain relationships with people. And
Yeah,
that's
I feel that.
a thing that most people don't want to dive into.
Yeah.
So did you? I just want to make sure I got it right. Did you say you think it's kind of selfish to want to have multiple partners, or
A selfless relationship inquires me to say, I don't have to think about myself because you've already done that, and vice versa, correct? But if you're in a selfish relationship, in that relationship, you're saying to yourself, hey, this is what I need. But then those other cups are not being filled. They're not being spoiled over. And although you may love them, you have a different relationship with your best friend than you do with an acquaintance, right? It's the same, it's about the same, right? So the love that you pour into one person is not exactly the same. They're always going to be missing something. And the intention of the person on the opposite end doesn't have the same intentions you may have in that relationship. And now, all give and take, your wife is like, I got all these things. I'm just using it as reference. Don't come for me though. But
Yeah,
your
no,
wife
you
is like,
good.
I have all these things and I've invested this time. But now here's another person saying, all that work that I have put in, he has put into somebody brand new. And we all have different brand new relationships, that new brand new feeling, that new brand new everything. And we divvy into that
and
so
not to
much.
interrupt you.
And
So
hence the wife at a loss.
what about the
Sorry.
relationships where they are in communication of this is okay?
No,
Like,
I'm in agreement with.
do you get
Listen,
what I'm
if you're in
saying?
a
Like,
relationship and you're all okay with it, but think about this, they're also divvying out the other things to other people too. So again, nobody's cup is full. We're just divvying it out someplace else. So yeah, you could be in love with two people. And I'm gonna give this love to this person, this
ravished.
love to that person. And then those people are gonna give those next people the next kind of love that you deserve.
I'm gonna
Nobody's
get
cup
to
is
you,
ever full in those relationships.
latte. Ravish. I'm gonna go and let you.
Well, well, I I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have a problem with how a person lives their life. How a person wants to live their life is how they live their life. I'm nobody's judge. I'm nobody's jury. None of that. Now again, like I've stated before, I am in a monogamous in a monogamous relationship with my wife. Um, of in March it will be 20 years. Again, that's my particular choice. I don't I with what Price has said, I see people love other people. And so how you compartmentalize love, how you choose to express your love, uh, I'm gonna leave that to Neuro, um, to expound to us the matriculated, educated side of that. I can simply say that I can vibe how you can have feelings for different people. That is perfectly fine. My entire stance, which I still have to stand flat footed on, is that the question that was posed to me was, is this a real thing in the metaverse? No one is denying that it is a real thing in real life. As a matter of fact, all you have to do is study history. And if you do a study of history, the most successful, strongest alpha males are identified by the multiplicity of wives and concubines that they have. So this is a historical fact. So listen, men have had multiple wives ever since there has been a social contract of marriage. And so that's a real thing. The question is, is it a real thing in the metaverse? And again, let me say how crazy this sounds, that if you are in a monogamous or a poly relationship in the real world, and you come to the metaverse and you have already violated the social contracts of that particular relationship, when you find that particular person in the metaverse that has already violated those social contracts in the real world, you cannot expect that person to then have an honest social meta contract with you. And then when they violate it with you, you accuse them of cheating. That's all I'm saying.
Can I ask you a question just real quick?
That's all I'm saying.
I don't want to piggyback on last week's show being a week before, but this is what I'm saying. When we talk about cheat,
yeah, because my thing was
about,
only it doesn't exist in the metaverse.
When we talk about
it exists in real life.
That's why I started. The reason why I started this out by saying, not only are these headsets that everybody is sitting within this space, you have a headset on your face. If you feel some type of way about, like, I have to always take it back to money because people are very serious about. I got a family, and they take that serious behind this headset. Why the other things that they take serious behind this headset are in void? And I say that because you say, well, if they've already violated their contract in the real world, but what's the stipulations behind the violation? What if, like Price said, well, me and my wife we separated. Like, we might be legally still together, but we
see
we not.
again. Now,
like, what about the?
So now what we take and let me say this, Price. I'm in a monogamous relationship. You're in a poly relationship. Okay. Both of us understand that in those relationships, there are real feelings. There are real things. Yeah. If somebody walks up in real life and offends my wife in any way, I mean, they walk up and offend my wife. Listen, they are close. They are very close to death.
Who is that?
And they don't understand that. They might understand that. Now,
it's a baby.
Yeah.
Now,
you gotta go, sweetheart.
Yeah, you gotta go, baby. We doing a show here, baby. Special guest, y'all. Y'all get some confetti up for y'all. Special guest.
Yeah. Can't move about the move about it.
She really out here exploring.
In a minute, the way my luck been working tonight, it's gonna be a giraffe come up in this motherfucker in a minute. God damn.
When you pull up your menu, it should have an option on the left that says manage people. You can just completely remove. You ain't got to poll.
Yeah, it's gonna get them up out of
You
here.
can just completely instantly remove it.
So Price. Now you were in a poly relationship. Your music on, King. You were in a poly relationship, which had real feelings. It had real dynamics. It had its own character. Okay. Yep. Now imagine someone taking that real relationship, that real dynamic. They're bringing it to the metaverse. They're taking everything of your relationship and they're reducing it down to a 2 or 3 day conversation. Now they're saying that we have what you have. They're not in a poly relationship. They just want to be a metaverse thot. That's all they want to do. They want to go around. They want to be a metaverse thot. That's what they want to do. They want to be a metaverse thot, and then they want to say they want to be a metaverse thot. And then they want to have all these emotional connections that you should have never had with this person anyway. You want to have these emotional connections, and then when you get hurt, you want to define it as, oh, he broke my heart because we were in a poly relationship. No, y'all were not in a poly relationship. He cashed out you $20. You thought that y'all was gonna get married. That was the end. That's not a poly relationship. And for you to call that a poly relationship and then say somebody cheated on me, that is lunacy.
Wait a minute.
That's what I'm saying.
Y'all better not be out there cheating for no fucking $20. Yo, come on, Westside.
I don't know what the going rate is. I don't know what the going rate is. You see, I don't know what the going rate is. So
no,
I'm sorry. I ain't mean to interrupt everybody. Go ahead.
What's up, Westside?
It's people out here cheating for free, but we ain't gonna have that conversation. But
that's true too. That's true too.
Kool-Aid package.
But when you in your
but listen here though.
But it's not for free when you in your feelings. It's not for free when you in your feelings. But go ahead.
Why are you in your feelings? That's the whole question.
Okay. I'm gonna let Westside go. I'm gonna let La go. Okay, go ahead.
So at the end of the day, right? Whether we, so I am strictly no poly, but I understand his reasoning. I understand other people's reasoning. It's not for me. I don't judge, but I understand it. So, but at the end of the day, whether it's going to be a poly or a monogamous relationship, there has to be a conversation. There has to be a
There has
conversation.
to be a conversation. He is correct.
has to
Well,
be a
to be
mutual
honest with you guys,
understanding.
most poly dynamics are grounded and foundational off of communication and honesty. That's what I. Now, this is me being transparent with the audience. This is a Shakila moment. When I was in a poly situation, when I went into it, he laid everything out on the table. He gave me the option: either you could take it or you don't. That's what I do like about poly, because this is not me being judgmental upon anybody else or trying to, put no man down. When I was in monogamous relationships, I never got the whole truth. I had to find that shit out, investigate, act stupid, show up at your mama house to get the truth. With any poly man I've dealt with, they put it out on the table and you get an option at the beginning. You don't have to find out about the Shinkashay and them later. That's the only reason why I do. Like me, I call myself, and when we talked about this the other day, like I said, this conversation happened because I'm about to let her speak, but she did an amazing job doing a live on Instagram the other night, and we all talked for about 3 to 4 hours. And we talked about how it starts, how it ends, what happens in the middle. Yeah, y'all give her a round of applause. Like she started this whole for this conversation. And there's things with me being a monogamous woman that I tell people I feel sometimes like I'm polymono or monogamous poly, because I could only get the honesty that I need from a man if he's poly. I've never got that real conversation from a poly man. I've only got those real honest conversations. But La, go ahead. I'm gonna let you talk. I call her La. Everybody call her Chocolate. Perv, you can sit in that chair over there by West.
Polymono. Yeah.
You can sit in that chair by. There you go.
Polymono. Can you
It's called
explain what that
polymono.
means, please?
But I want to let La. Perv, I'm gonna let you go
Short.
after La because she been waiting. I'm gonna let La go, and then I'm gonna let you go after her. She been waiting.
Well,
Okay, go ahead.
For short, polymono means one partner is poly and the other partner is monogamous. so it can go.
I'm sorry.
No.
Especially in my work world.
Okay, now listen. He laughing, and that's my big brother, but
Let him
that's
break
what
it down. Let him
I
break
was.
it down, 'cause it makes sense.
That's what I was. That's what I was.
It's called polymono.
I met a
That
man
mean either,
that was poly.
That mean either partner.
And
that mean
go ahead.
either partner can be poly or mono. So it can go either way. She could be mono.
Where do
be
these
poly,
definitions come from?
That sounds like a
No,
cop
because
out, though.
it's
It
true.
comes from a.
That
It
is
comes
a
from
cop
a.
out.
I'm gonna tell you what it
No,
comes from.
no,
I'm
it
gonna
is.
tell you
It's
what
Okay,
it comes from.
okay,
I'm gonna tell you what it
hold
comes
on, real quick. Transparent moment once again. When I met who I met, he hit when after we vibed in a certain way, and then eventually the flirting went on, and we were going to be intimate, and he told me like, I'm poly, and you not poly, and we had a conversation. When I'm intimate with someone, I'm only giving my body to one person. But I
Can I ask a
knew
question?
that he had. Hold on, D. I'm gonna let you get
Okay.
into it.
But
I knew that he had one other person, which, like I said, I was in something called a triangle. He is at the top of the pyramid, and then it's me and her. So before y'all start saying,
we call that a throuple. That's what.
okay. So before people start
all this terminology.
well, he could have been sleeping with other. Hold on. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So
Can I
before people
please
say,
ask
well,
a question?
he could have been sleeping with 6 other women besides y'all 2. Or whatever, but I mean, like the dynamic. Okay, you know what? Forget it. Go ahead, Wes.
Let me say something.
Go ahead.
So at the end of the day, right, it's about honesty. What are we? How much freedom do I got to speak on here? Do I got? Can I just let
cuss?
loose?
You can say coochie ass. Like
All right,
this
bet
is
All right,
I am Shakira speaks.
And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it with my whole heart: niggas got to stop fucking lying. Whether you straight up, because a woman, if you got a woman and you're like, hey, well, I feel like I need to go and do something else with somebody else, have that conversation with her. Stop
respect
creeping
you.
around and doing what the fuck you want to do,
That's
and just be honest about where
it
you
sounds
at.
like a cop out.
Can
Not
I,
only that,
It's
but there's
not-
like a
it's not- hold on,
relationship
hold on,
hierarchy.
hold on,
Only
hold
one
on,
person
don't get me
have
wrong.
like the
Don't get me
power.
wrong. Let me say this. Don't get me
I
wrong.
won't lie.
I gotta ask Nero a
I won't lie to be able to speak because La have not been able to speak. She's been trying to speak. I want to let her speak.
Hey everybody.
what's up,
So
love?
I just want to say, after listening to everybody on the panel, someone who is new to the new terminologies and the new thoughts and the new relationships that these types of situations bring, hearing it from two different people who have two different thoughts on it actually puts me in a category of being polycurious instead of what I thought before. So, um, after like some type of, I'm not going to get into the depths of it, but I will say this.
I'm gonna hit up with the categories in a minute. I was just
Upon
waiting.
coming into a situation, I thought that I would be okay with it. Like you know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, I wouldn't mind having two people to love, two people to give love to get love from. It would be awesome to do that. And I realized upon doing that, you must allow those other people to do the same. It's called equality in a relationship, right? Our relationships got to be equal. However, those are odd numbers. So I don't really see exactly how everybody is going to get the same kind of love. Somebody is going to lose something. Someone is not going to get the attention that they seek. Somebody is going to become upset. Somebody maybe call somebody else's name. Anything like that can happen. And those things can become upsetting if all parties do not know about each other or all parties are not feeling like they get that same type of attention from others. Get what I'm saying? However, on the other side, me, who is also a person in a fucked up marriage, that's what led me to even begin to think about polyamory, not polygamy. Because number one, I will never fucking marry again. So, um, the thought of having a husband or a wife and then a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever, it's fun to think of it like that because it's like everybody has a freedom to do what they want. However, I do believe that there will not be equality. I do believe that if someone has been married for 13, 14 years, like Rubio said, how do you say her name? Dean. Like Dean said,
Ruvius.
if you've
Dean is
been
good.
okay, if you've been married for 13, 14 years, right? And then you do meet someone who comes along the way, she will never be able to hold a candlestick to your wife or husband. That person had the time to learn you, right? So the minute she
Correct.
says or does something out of the way, which is the new woman, you'll automatically revert
Compare
her
what
to the
what I
bad shit
came.
that your wife was doing that caused y'all to not be okay. Like it's
That's
not
true.
gonna you're not gonna give her the same passage that you would give your wife.
That's
So
true.
I think, like I said, as a person on the outside, peeking through the blind right now to see if this is what I like, I think there's still a lot of questions that I have. Um, Also, being involved in a situation like so, I will tell you that it can lead to like having your feelings hurt consistently,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you don't
Mhm.
understand
Yep.
or the other person you feel is not being completely transparent. Like you never hear stories about them together or anything like that. You do wonder because you have to consider this is your man. You want to know what he's
Mm-hmm.
doing. So if you keep that other relationship at a quiet, you know what I mean? Or, oh, don't worry about what we got going on. This is me and you right now. I want to know what y'all are doing too. You're still my man. You know what I mean? And I think
Mhm.
those types of things are what would cause me to be like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But,
And that I'm sorry, I ain't trying to interrupt you. But I was just gonna say that's why I
so it's
tell
a
people
curious
for me,
situation. I'm not yes or no. I'm right in the middle. Like, I'm in the middle.
yeah, and that's
So
why when I say poly, I used to call myself poly monogamous. I made it up. That was because okay, but no, but listen, that's because if I'm intimately involved with someone, I'm only with that one. But when I'm monogamous and intimately involved with someone, I've got cheated on so many goddamn times, and found out about so many other women. I'm like, well, shit, he was poly and I was monogamous and I just didn't know. But what's the fucking difference of going in a situation with a motherfucker saying, hey, it's me, you, and her? I know. Like, what is the difference?
See,
But
again,
that's just a cop out though. That's like saying like I've been cheated on, so I'd rather just have it up front. I mean, it's not the same.
Different. I think it's different.
You know,
like if you lived in the same house,
no,
it would
I
be
feel like
easier
at the
to
beginning
cheat.
you're giving me the option, bitch. Look, I'm not gonna just be with you, and I'm not just with you. This is laid out. Do you want it or
But
not?
if you agree to the term, hold on. If you agree,
Yes,
if you agree
you're
to the
putting,
term,
you're putting stipulations on somebody.
People haven't been
loving
courted
you,
in this
like-
life, and it
like-
shows.
if
I'm like,
it
fuck
shows.
y'all.
There gotta be
Right.
there gotta be some communication.
It
If
shows,
somebody
it shows.
tells
it shows
you,
like
hey,
people have never
look,
really been courted.
if somebody tells you,
Say that again,
hey,
Neuro, please.
I want to talk to you, or we're gonna be together, but I got some other people I'm messing with on the side, and you agree to them terms, that's not cheating.
No,
Yeah,
it's not.
it's not
It's
cheating.
not.
See,
But it
what
doesn't mean
that's
that
not-
everybody.
it's not a cop
But it
out.
doesn't mean that
Neuro-
everybody
Neuro
is
just-
gonna
They're
give
saying
the right
is-
amount of love.
Okay, so
either.
there's women that go into
Whether
these
it's cheating or not.
relationships and know the stipulations. Then there's women that are in relationships that get cheated on and stay within that relationship.
It's
But
the same thing.
that's what I'm saying.
So
So
you
if
no
you
longer
know
getting
it,
cheated on. What
but
you're
no, I'm
doing is
saying
being
if you
accepted.
know
It's
it,
like a cop-out.
it's a problem.
No,
so
it's
if
not.
you know
Like,
it,
it's not the
if
same
you know
thing.
it, it's a problem. But if you don't know it, it's okay. That's what I feel like y'all are saying. If you
It's
don't
almost
know,
like you just read
it's
the
not-
fine
no.
print of the relationship.
This is what but this is what
You
I'm
didn't know
saying,
that
right?
you was in, but you
If-
can't
if-
dictate
if-
what
if-
other people know inside of that relationship. He may have told you that, but he definitely didn't probably tell other people that. But it also doesn't mean that that's what that's defined as. The information that you have, and I'm in so much agreement with Miss Law. If the information that you have and the relationship that you built, there's always going to be a sacrifice, and there's always going to be this hierarchy in the relationship. There's only one defined person in that relationship who's allowed to do something. When all parties are allowed to do something, then y'all just friends having a good time. There's no relationship happening anywhere. It's just people who are tending to sit around and hook up. But it sounds like a cop out almost when you say, I was with someone and I was hurt, so I'd rather just have it up front and in my face. And that's what that
Okay,
sounds
so what about
like.
the
It
other
doesn't
dynamic,
sound-
Noro?
But
I
it's
know
not.
couples.
But you're
I
looking
know
at
couples
it wrong.
that I know couples that also chose the lifestyle because of family, children. They felt like this is a better fit for me and him.
They did. They had
to have
sister wives
her
and
or
sister
him-
husbands and sister cousins.
Yeah,
There was,
it has nothing to do
it's
with
been
sex,
long
'cause
lived in our culture.
it has nothing to do with.
Just
And
the
then, like
long living
earlier,
culture.
Dean said
Very, very
biblical
long.
stance, which I do
It
not.
was.
Like I tell people, I don't do
Not
religion or
biblical,
politics.
historically.
Historically.
It has always
what
been
I'm
like
saying
that.
is, historically, when you guys talk about, well, it doesn't. I'm not saying you guys, but as a community, people say it's not right. I don't. When I hear those stories or the history, I don't feel like they were in love with all of them. They might have been in love with one, but they brought the other ones. You gonna go over here. You gonna pick this. You gonna do the laundry. You gonna go
It's
out
a
here and
puzzle
milk
piece.
these cows. Like everybody had a design your position. Go ahead, La. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I
Well,
would
we're
think
really
that
talking
that
about
dynamic
ma-
would change like just a little bit. Like say per se, if the relationship was inside of the same house, you get what I'm saying? I think it would be
Yes.
easier. I believe that this type of relationship would be easier if all parties live together, possibly. Because if this man is a bachelor, right? If he's by himself, hold on, no, let me explain myself. So like, if the man is by himself, right, and he's in two relationships, one of the women is his wife, the other one is his girl, all right? No matter what, someone is always going to feel some type of way when somebody leaves, when they don't answer right away, when they don't, no matter how much of a fucking understanding they have with somebody, someone is going to get left out. And depending on how much the person you're with is loving you, how much these two women or these two men, because this can go for women as well, who would like to have two partners, not just two men, not just a man. So think about the amount of inconsistency and attention and affection that will not go around to everybody, right?
I think they go
like,
back
I
to what
think-
Westside said though. Westside said you got to know
Yeah, that's
you
what
and what
he-
you're
yeah.
what you're.
What
I
you're
think that goes
capable
back
of
to what he
doing, I
said.
think-
Like,
I
what
think
you,
it's
but
what
now
you're
for me,
I don't think-
capable of doing.
what the other night when I was on your live, somebody asked me, I came out of nothing but I've never been in nothing but monogamous relationships. When I went into that, and they said, well, what about how did you feel? Were you jealous? Were you this? Now this is just me, and I'm not throwing me on nobody else. I didn't give a fuck about her because I knew me. Like it came to a point where you're right. It came to an argument because he's like, she's complaining about me spending too much time with you. Well, hey, go spend some more time with her. That's where I stood because I knew what I was capable of and I knew what I was bringing to the table.
Do it.
When any situation that I'm in, because okay, so this is what I explained the other night for the people that have been single for a while, going into something. Like, when you meet someone right now, you go outside, you go jogging, whatever you're doing, you meet somebody. Y'all exchange numbers, y'all start talking, getting a type of rapport between each other. While you're getting to know him and you just met him a couple days ago, before you met him, he's been fucking somebody. And he's been talking to somebody. They might not be hold on, Wes. They might not be serious yet or whatever the case may be. But there's somebody else and he ain't told you. So he's in the vetting stage of trying to figure out which one of y'all he wants. I feel like it's to me, that's just to Shakila in the way she thinks. It's the same thing with the polyamory thing. It's like it's which no titles. It's the vetting stage. It's no titles.
Let me ask some questions then. Let me ask some questions.
Go ahead. Well, Westside, go ahead. Well, Westside had his hand raised. Go ahead.
Here's my thing, right? And like I was explaining on the live, if I'm just meeting you, I'm trying to get to know you. Mm-hmm. It's talking, dating, and relationship, and so on.
Are you gonna cut off all of them to get to know me?
Huh?
Whoever you were talking to before you met me, you might have met me at the grocery store. You might have met me at church.
What?
Once? No. Are you gonna cut all of them off to get to know me?
No, because I'm not. Because I'm just now meeting you. I don't know nothing about you. I don't know your first. I know your first name and how you look like and whatever you wearing, and that's it. I don't know none. I don't know anything. So
how long does it take before you cut off everybody else? Then
it's going to take however long it takes. But even in that has to be a mutual decision. We come up with each other. It might take 2 months. It might take a month. I don't need. It's probably going to take 2 or 3 months. But everybody's different. Everybody's not going to think like Westside. But there's no way I can justify cutting anybody off if we're just meeting because I don't know nothing about you. Mm-hmm. And it's not the same because we don't have a rapport. We don't have that blood, sweat, and tear, figuratively speaking, of getting to know each other. So there's no emotional tie there, at least not for me, because I don't know you.
So those 6 months, are you going to cut all of them off to get to know me? Or are you going to keep vetting all of us at the same time to see who you want?
It depends on how it goes. That's a lot of because energy. in the 6 months, how you move.
I'm just saying.
And how you move might not be how the next one move. You might move too slow for me. You might move too fast for me.
Mm-hmm. But what if I got other attributes that you like?
Those are substitutions to what he's looking for within people, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about complexity. You're talking about complexity and people's mind frame. His wants and needs are not the same in wants, needs, and intentions that you have, and vice versa to whoever else who he's talking to.
Yes.
But I wanted to bring up those complexities. So let's talk about some of those complexities, though. Because La was very right when she's talking about.
I let you know from when I vet, I let you know from the beginning. Like while I'm getting to know you, I let you know that I'm poly. So you can make the decision right then and there.
That's quick.
What made you go poly?
Which form of poly are you again?
And then what made you go poly?
Ambidextrous. What is it?
Stop. D, you get on my nerves. You get on my nerves.
I'm done.
Okay, so this is a true poly lifestyle right here. So tell us why you went poly and how you do that vetting stage. How does that work?
Me, like Price say, I always been poly. I always been poly growing up. Like growing up, like I never had one girlfriend. At the time, I didn't know what the terminology was. But when after 18, I learned what the terminology was.
I swear to God, I'm not gonna interrupt you no other time, just one. But I have not been attentive to the audience, and we do have the hot seat, y'all. And the hot seat is anyone in the audience that feel like they have something important to say. And so after Pervy's done, no, come back, baby. After Pervy's done, we're gonna. Oh, okay, you didn't want to.
he ain't had no
okay.
question. He ain't had no question.
So that's what this is. This is a hot seat. So if anybody in the audience feel like they want to have an input or an opinion, this is where you go. Because of some other stuff, I did not get to that. Go ahead, Pervy.
Like, persuasive.
After 18, I learned what the terminology was, but
I don't know if that
at the time I was still, still learning. So yeah, I was in a monogamy relationship, but I was still learning about poly. But then, like, after like 25, I was like, I've been mono down there my whole life growing up. So like, I came to a turn where it was like, yo, you like to have more than one partner, so you're gonna have to make a sacrifice. It's either be stuck in something you don't want to be in, or follow what you truly want. And I made a hard decision. None wasn't wrong with the girl. The girl loved me to the fullest. Never cheated on me. Nothing. I just made a hard decision. Was like, yo, it's nothing against you. This is how I feel. Like, this is me. This is truly me. Like, this is what I want. She didn't like it. So, we had to sit down. It was like, yo, it's either you accept me as I am, or hey, this is it. She left.
Like, what is it? What is it that you asking them to accept, Perv? Because I guess I'm kind of lost.
You want
like,
to be out there.
Like, what is it? What is it that you're asking them to accept of you that is needs this quality of acceptance? I don't understand.
Basically, I'm gonna fuck with you. I'm gonna love you, but I'm gonna love and fuck on other women and other people too. That's
no.
Let's not say it like that. Let's not say it like that.
No,
it's not.
That's what it sounded like to me.
That's
no. So
I
help
think
me.
that's the misconception on the stage up here. That's the misconception on the stage
but
up
you
here.
can't leave that part out.
That's
You
not
leave
the
that part out.
misconception. Not with you, it wasn't Bryce. Not with you, it wasn't Bryce.
Oh no, but I'm saying in
I
general.
was gonna say it's
like,
not always
on Pervy's
sexual.
behalf as
No,
well.
it wasn't. No,
It's emotional a lot of
You
times.
can't leave that part out. You're not gonna have a relationship
All
with
right,
someone that you're
so
not gonna have sex with.
Not gonna
for
sleep
me,
with, yeah.
Yes, you can though. You can.
But you won't.
And I have. I've done
not-
that. I've done that. I speak for myself.
But Bryce, listen, Bryce is
Emotional
different.
connections.
Price
Somebody's gonna
had
support you,
Price
love you,
had
like,
an
you don't got nothing to
emotional
do with that.
connection
Eventually, but if
with
they fall in
these
love,
two
they're gonna
people,
want
but he
all
but he
of them.
didn't
Something
want
from
but he
emotion.
just wanted those two.
And they can get
My question is to Perv.
And
I
that's the
don't
point I'm
now
making.
I'm not understanding.
Perv,
I'm not
do you-
understanding. Perv,
You
what
want me to?
type?
So
What
do
type
you
of?
want to clarify
What were
what you wanted?
requiring?
Did you want to try?
Alright.
Did you want to
So
quad?
to
Did you want
clarify-
to? What did you want?
me, I wanted a triangle. Me and two wives.
No.
Poly, what is that?
So you wanted two
And-
wives,
okay, so
or
pause
did you
right
want?
there, y'all.
Fidelity?
Did you just want
So-
two women?
A lot.
I
Yeah,
want
I
y'all to
just
know
want
Two
there's.
wives, or did you
y'all
just
gotta-
want to be able to have
hold on,
I just
multiple
want y'all.
women?
I want y'all to know there's
I just
different.
wanted
There's
two
different
wives.
categories. You have the triad. You have a
Uh-oh.
quad. You got a V.
Oh my
You got a
goodness.
solo
Oh my
polyamory. You got a.
goodness.
Oh God.
You gotta look
There's
at it like
different-
sexuality
Power
almost.
Rangers, are we
You know what I'm
talking
saying?
about?
Nah,
We're talking about
nah,
Power Rangers
nah,
only?
it's
Okay,
almost
so-
sexuality.
Okay, so as people say, "Oh my God!" Now listen,
Let me say
anything in
something
your
else.
life,
Let me say something real
anything.
quick.
Okay, so let's be clear. Anything in your life, from your money to your cars to your religion, anything, you create the dynamic off of what
Yeah.
you need. And let's be clear about one thing. And this is one thing nobody can
You
talk
said
me
a
out
word,
of.
and I'm gonna tell you.
Your
what the term means.
perspective is your experience, and your experience is
You
what
said
you've
a
been
word.
through,
I'm gonna tell you what
what
the
you
term means.
want and what you don't want. So that's how you create these dynamics. So when people feel like the dynamics are not realistic, yes, they are, because the things that you went through that you don't want to go through anymore is what creates what you want now. So if you have been in, like me, I've been in relationships. I've been in poly. I'm not saying I'm searching for poly, but hey, but because of my past, I understand it. I might be willing. That's only because of my experience, and my experience creates my perspective. Go ahead, West Side.
Look, I understand.
West Side like that.
That sounds like.
Got his
Nah,
hand
because,
up.
Oh Lord.
nah, because look, I think So in the midst of conversation, I understand how everybody feels, and there might be some confusion. But what we have to do is allow the person we're asking to talk and let them understand, give us an understanding of where their mindset is. I am a serial monogamous. Like, I understand that, and I didn't know anything about
Captain Crunch
poly.
cereal.
No, nor would
Hold
I
on, y'all.
ever
Throw some
expected
confetti.
that.
My guy said
But-
he is a cereal. Say it again, West Side. Y'all give him some
I'm a serial
confetti.
monogamous.
Y'all give him some confetti.
but
That just
Damn
sounds
it.
like you like to
Did
be
y'all
in a
hear what he
relationship
just
all the
said?
time. When
Cereal.
one bores out, then we have a new relationship. That doesn't sound. I mean, y'all are
Okay.
putting into-
Let me
Hold
rephrase
on.
it. Let me rephrase this.
Mm.
I love one woman at a time. That's it. Period.
That's
I don't
and then
try-
when
I
that
tr-
one goes, the next one comes. It just sounds like you get bored. It doesn't sound, and I'm saying
No.
Listen.
See, now, you got
Hey,
to
I'm-
let me make this
hold on.
perfectly clear for you.
Hold on. I'm gonna take the therapy hat off for a second and just make like a woman talk. It just sounds like you get bored. And for 2 seconds, I'm gonna be as ratchet as I could possibly fucking be. It sounds like you get bored. It sounds like when you get tired up, here come the next one. And then here
Let me
come
be
the next
perfectly
one.
clear with
And
you.
then here come the
No,
next
no,
one.
no, West
let me be
Side.
perfectly
No,
clear with
West
you.
Side. West Side.
He's married,
Is
right?
it true?
Let me
But what is
put
that?
some
Is it true?
clarification on what I just
Is it
said.
Hold
true?
on, he's trying to clarify. He's trying to clarify.
Okay.
I'm going to make it perfectly clear with you. If I use the wrong term, my bad.
Okay.
I am would rather be committed to one woman
one
for the
person, yeah.
rest of my life and be good.
But
So
you are
if
in the
I
vetting
said
process
serial
where you have to
monogamous,
talk
if
to
I
multiple
said the
women.
Listen
wrong
to me,
terminology,
West Side.
that's
I
my
owe
ignorance.
you an apology because I thought that was Perv talking about him and his woman.
Oh no, my bad. I'm say that.
I was prepared.
I'm just making this. I'm making
I didn't
that
even
perfectly
see your
clear.
head because Price's head was in the way. I didn't even see
But-
it.
My bad,
I
my
was
head
like,
kinda
wait,
big.
hold
But back
on a
to what
second.
I was
You over here
saying
seriously
earlier.
dating the pussies and throwing them out. So sorry.
But back to what I was saying earlier is that
You see, I was ready to
understanding my
wrap you up. I'm
mindset
so sorry.
of relationships and marriage.
I got leaned over.
There's no way I can jump into a poly relationship. So I think it's good to still have that understanding of what their mindset
The
is.
communication.
So when they're
The
speaking
communication.
and where they're talking, it's important that we don't undermine their thoughts and their feelings by reacting certain ways. We got to let them talk because
I feel
really,
like- I feel-
but really, what can happen is some people be like, "Oh shit, I can see myself doing that," or vice versa. If I was going on to a podcast where everybody's poly and I'm trying to explain that to them, but they're undermining what I'm saying, they'll never get that information. So we got to
You're
let
right.
them talk.
Correct.
You're
Correct.
right.
I feel like
You are
this
right.
in a relationship you
That is
already
correct.
have, and I'm gonna say this on the terms, but you already have the dynamic of growth. And I think one of the issues that I'm having with it, a personal issue that I'm having with it, I don't say all the issues, but personal issues that I would have with it, is that in a relationship you already have to deal about growth with the person. So the longer that you're with the person, like when people say I'm together with somebody for 20 years, you know how many times they have to love that same person over and within 20 years? They have to get to know the growth of that person every single time that relationship starts. And every time that person now grows into something else. And then here you are starting a new relationship, but the growth in this relationship hasn't been finessed. It's just crazy to me that people don't see that as already being in somebody else's newness, in a sense.
To
You know, like
piggyback
if I'm
off
in
of-
my growth period,
Everything
If you're in my
evolves.
growth-
And
if I'm
I
in my
like
growth
the way
period,
you put
very
every,
good.
right?
No,
That
I
was
like
very
the
good.
fact
in my
that
Hey,
she
she
said
needs
that.
some
then you're
confetti
not
on
sitting
that,
here trying
yo.
to invest in my
Every-
new growth
confetti
everything,
on that,
and vice
yo.
versa. I'm not
everything-
investing in your new growth.
every
That's just
Let's
hard for
go.
me to understand. And then y'all just
everything
go open up new
evolves.
doors in relationships.
So it's
Well,
perfect.
that's
How do
dope
you
to
feel
work in
about
general,
that? Like,
regardless
when
of how
you're
you cut it. No
and-
relationship
or-
perfect.
And
So you're gonna
Pervy, I
constantly be
want
working
when you
on each.
speak. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Price.
Oh no, I already
Sorry,
said
I'm
I was
leaning up
like
'cause I can't see.
that's relationships in general. Like when you talk about just a
general.
monogamous relationship and people like this is my father-in-law said this, and it's funny because he always used to be like it's cheaper to keep her. It's from the day I got with my wife. But when you're in a relationship with one person, it's a constant. I ain't gonna say battle, but you have to continuously, like you said, like learn that person as they
Learn
grow.
that person.
Me and my
choose
wife,
them
we met
every
when we
single
was like
day.
20. We was like 20 when we met or whatever, and we ended up, having a kid, getting married, or whoop, essentially. But like we both grew, we changed a little bit. We didn't necessarily grow together, but that's a relationship. So you got to continue to like reinvent
So let me ask you a
yourself
question
and
though.
love that
Let me ask you
person
a
the
question
same
though.
way.
What makes you so willing to then invest in newness with someone else instead of reinvesting into the growth that she was having, and vice versa?
Alright.
Sometimes
the
that
growth
shit be
or
This is
lost
decline that you were
cause.
having.
Sometimes
Yeah.
that relationship is lost.
Hold on. I completely hold on. I hear it on my couch on a daily basis. I understand the
Yeah.
dynamics of how that falls, and I'm saying it like this: within growth and within declining, how does that make it seem in a fairness to yourself or fairness to somebody else? At that point, shouldn't you just say, I'm going to walk away and then start this newness with somebody else? Instead, what you're doing is you're suppressing somebody else's growth. Hold on to somebody else's growth or declinement in order for you to reinvest into something else. So we're not going to sugarcoat around the circle and just say, oh, well, it's just because we just stopped matching. We stopped meshing well
Okay.
together in a sense, right? At what point in time do you say to yourself, this investment that's here is no longer inside of any person's growth. It's declined to a point that we can't come back or whatever it may be. So now you've
You gotta
now
be
taken this
self-aware.
investment and newness to somebody else. And then now this person is going to be in submission. And that submission is now them declining to see you in your newness. At what
Can I
point in
ask a
time do
this
you
is
see
what
the
I was.
effects of action that happen to other people?
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Bryce. I'm gonna go after you.
I was just gonna say, like, when you were talking, like, to me, it's almost like you being in college and you double majoring. You know what I'm saying? You still in college. It's all love in a relationship, being college. But then you have your other major that you're doing, which is this other person. What is that other major gonna do? It's gonna make you more sophisticated. You know more information because you went to college and the love in a relationship, and you got two of those things, and you learn both of these things. That's why I was talking about a little bit earlier. I touched on it. Like, you're learning two people. That's not gonna do anything for you, but make you grow into a better person based on your experiences
That's your
that you get from these
personal
two people.
intention.
Yeah,
I want you to
that's me.
understand
Yeah,
that
it
that's your
is me.
personal
It's definitely
intention.
me.
That
That's me.
yeah, hold on, that's your personal intention. That is not
Mhm.
your wife's personal intention. That's your personal intention. So when we're talking about it, like I'm saying, at what point in time within her growth or decline, because it goes both ways.
Mhm.
Some people decline, some people have growth, right? And her growth or decline, that you said that you're going to start investing in that newness, and then have to watch the sacrifice of your newness with somebody else. At what
See, it's
point in
hard
time
for
do
me
you
to
just
get
start to
into that.
close that door and just say,
Yeah,
like, I'm just going to close this door
that's
because that newness is not here anymore.
Okay,
I
yeah.
don't
can
want
I?
to rewatch and reinvest into this growth anymore or this decline that we're having.
Well, just to clarify.
Well, can I
Instead, you're
get
just
in?
sitting up in
I
here and
want to. Can
grabbing
I
more
get in
and
on
more,
that
and
real
she's
quick?
watching you, and that's
Yeah, my
suppression.
wife opened up this whole thing. By the
Can
way,
I?
I want to clarify.
I
She
was gonna
opened
say,
up the
can I
whole
get in
can of
on?
worms.
Can I get in
Oh,
on that
there's a
real
hot
quick?
down
Because
there,
Young
brother.
folk, what you
what I
need, my
what I'm
man? You got to get back down there.
okay.
You got to get or the hot seat
my
right there,
bad.
or the hot
Hold
seat,
on,
honey,
hold
Yeah,
on,
there's a
right
hot
hold
there.
seat. If you
If
want
you
to
want-
sit, the
There's a
red
hot
hot
seat
right
seat on
there.
the red.
you gotta
in
get in the
red
hot
chair right
seat.
there.
So what I was gonna say is,
Oh
can I
shit.
just kind of get
He
in
hops back
real
to
quick?
stage.
Go back some.
You
back.
got a question? Get in the
Go-
get in the red
And
seat.
the
Get in the
hot
red
seat right
chair.
there.
I
That red
got you.
seat. That right
the
there.
Yeah,
hot
that
seat.
red
Okay.
chair.
The
I'm
red
gonna let
seat,
you
brother. There you
speak.
go.
I got
Oh,
you.
y'all
Just
heard
let
my
me
other
say
language
something
coming
real
out real
quick.
quick. Hold
Let me
on.
say something real quick,
I
and
don't
then
know
I
what you
got
guys are talking about, so I'm sorry. I'm not informed.
Oh,
Poly
Oh, wow.
Then
relationship.
why was you standing
so
at the table?
He just
Oh,
came in.
what I was
you
gonna.
said
I'm
poly
done, live.
relationship.
Yeah,
I'm
go.
You
good
good?
on that.
You good?
That doesn't.
Go have a
So-
seat out in the
me.
audience, then, my man. Go have a seat out in the audience,
Already,
my man.
brother.
You good? You can stay. Just go have a seat in the audience, okay?
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
listen.
my
You
bad,
listen
my
to
bad.
education.
I didn't even see
Go
every.
ahead.
I just came in. My bad.
No, you good. We're in the middle of a
apologize.
show, though.
Fucking
Thank you, my
up the
man. Go ahead. You good? Go ahead.
Love, love.
Lust.
I was gonna say something to what Noro said in reference to how you change and things like that, and I was gonna ask her, like, what if the reservations, what about the people who are really conflicted? That, and the only reason why I asked is because, like I said, within the conversation that we had the other night is the only reason that I felt like this show needed to happen, because there are some people that are really conflicted, and they're like, I am not happy here. And I know it sounds like you said, it's self-reservations, but they're like, I'm not happy here, but because of maybe comfortability and familiarity, like I'm used to
Each
being
one.
here, I can't let go. And they don't want to. And then they tell the other person, hey, Lil Ray Ray, I gotta go. I've met somebody else, and I think I'm probably now, because I'm still in love with you, but I've met such and such at the grocery
think
store. He
I'm
picked up my beef broth, and we've been talking on the phone every night now. And
I'm poly.
I just woke up and think I'm poly. Hold on. But the only reason why I say this is because I want to touch on the fact that there are people that go through this, that they feel like because of traditional religion, whatever, I know this ain't right. I don't feel like this is right, but I
Ooh.
feel this. This is
I'm
what's
gonna ask the
here.
biggest question.
Hold
I'm
on.
gonna ask the
Oh
biggest
my.
question.
Hold on. What I'm saying is, how do you speak to those issues of somebody that's like, I even tried to leave. I told them, look, we have been done. We've been broken, and we've still tried to fix it. And I met JoJo, and let's just, and they like, no, if I have to be poly, if we have to figure this out together, we will. Now that's within evolving. There, hold on, Dean, you laughing, but
I'm
this
sorry.
stuff,
Hey, she right though. That is
this
evolving. You know
this
what I'm saying?
stuff,
No.
this
That's
stuff
not
happened.
evolution. That's you dealing
That's
with a
not
nut.
evolution.
Oh
That's
my
you
god!
dealing
Go
with a
ahead
psychopath.
Hold on, Dean.
I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna ask the
hold
bigger
up.
question
I'm
because
just,
at what point
this
in time?
stuff
Hold on. At
happened.
what point in time do you feel? I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but at what point in time do you say you can't work on yourself personally, and that those people matter that much that you can't work on yourself personally?
It's a
Like, at what
realization.
point in time do you say, hold on, because it's a continued question. Ready? Because letting go and moving on are two separate things. Agreed? Moving on means I'm taking something with me and moving it to a new place, and that's what y'all are doing. Y'all just holding on to something and moving it to a new place. But letting go means I've completed it. I'm done with it. It's complete. I'm finished, and I'm out the door and gone. If you're just moving on with the same things, I'm going to keep asking you why you feel so uncomfortable to work on just you and yourself, that you have to keep moving on with something else and holding on to
But
the
But what if
past
I
or
want to
whatever it is
let
that
you
have, the
go, and I'm
relationship.
telling you, like, I want to start this new, even though I love you,
What's
I
stop?
don't
What's
want to
stop with
hurt
me? I
you.
could tell you today I don't like you. I'm gonna walk away, and I'm going to walk away. There's nothing
But
drawing
what
me
if
back.
you don't? What
That's
if
you.
Go ahead,
But
That's
Will.
you
she's
personally
saying
drawing.
the
But that's
person
you
won't
personally.
What
let
I'm
you
saying
go.
is, what I'm saying,
Can't
You
nobody
dealing
right?
with a
You
nut.
want the
Oh, let me
person
put
that
my
I'm
record in.
dealing with
Can't
a
nobody
nut. I
hold
ain't gonna
me
let you
down.
go.
I wish
I'm
they
dealing-
had
hold on,
somebody
No,
hold
I'm
me.
saying is,
Holly,
Hold up.
you are dealing
I'm
with a
saying
nut.
is,
You gotta realize
they're
you are
not
dealing with a
making. Oh God.
psychopath.
Okay, so we're gonna let West
hold up,
Side
G.
go, and
Yeah,
then
but
Lion
restraining
go at the
order.
West
Hold on.
Side. Go ahead.
Let's
Go ahead, West
get a-
Side.
let's
Go
get a-
ahead. Go ahead, West Side.
Can we get a restraining order with this?
Go ahead, West
Call the
Side.
We just like,
police.
pow. Let that go. The bullet and everything.
Listen, somebody need a big brother or a daddy.
Oh Lord. Go ahead, West Side.
All right. So let me give you a little
Let
bit
me
of
stop messing
understanding of
around.
where that. Let me give you a little bit of understanding where that conversation came from.
Mind your
And
manners, Fiji.
so said person in the conversation, they're in this situation, and they can quote me if I'm wrong, or they can fix me where I'm wrong. Um, they're more of, hey, you're not letting me go, or it's hard for me to let go, and I don't want to let go. So hey,
Let go.
I want to practice I want to practice.
This
poly.
sounds like a bad '90s R&B song.
Oh my
So,
God, dude.
they're more
Every
like-
R&B song.
So
bro.
hold on, bro. Hold on. So the guy is the other person is more like, no, I'm not cool with that.
Insecurity
So
as
then it's like, what do
bias.
you do? And it's not always cutting. And I'm very black and white. I tell people this all the time. I don't sit in the gray area with nothing. You either gonna get yes or no. There ain't no maybe. I don't
Yeah,
kind of
right.
no. It's yes or no.
Like that.
But I can see why, if you have a history with this person for some odd years, I can see why that's a little bit difficult. So the option is, hey, let's practice poly. If the person's more like, no, I'm not cool with that, and I'm not going to let you go, then what? That's the bigger conversation, right? What do you do?
It is. It is. It is.
How
And
can
that's
somebody
what
hold
okay,
you-
so
This is
okay, so
How can somebody physically
Okay,
hold
we're gonna
you
let-
in a
we're gonna-
relationship that you're
okay,
not
hold on,
married?
Yo, hold on,
we gonna let
We gonna
Lot
have to
talk,
talk
but
about. Y'all need some
we're gonna let
therapy.
Lot talk. But what I'm saying is,
How is that
and
possible?
I know that
And that's
y'all
another part of
two
the conversation we're going to get
I
to.
feel like okay, so we're gonna let Lot talk. But before you go, Lot,
Emotionally, if you
y'all
want
two
someone
are
else,
coming from the
that's
standpoint
it.
of what is, I feel like, common sense, right? And for me, the reason why I even started this show because I grew up in a very strict Christian home, and then I grew up in a ratchet home once everybody got separated. So that's why I even made this show, because I can identify from both stands. So what makes sense is usually what you're supposed to do. If it don't make sense, why the fuck are you doing it? If you feel like you shouldn't be doing it, why the fuck are you doing it? So what I'm saying is, for someone that feels like, I know, baby, I'm doing this. This is how I feel. It doesn't make sense. That's the standpoint that what we're discussing right now. Let's take all of that out for that standpoint. Before you speak a lot, I want you to go on that, because it's, where I'm going, but go ahead.
Okay. So I could see where it does seem just a bit selfish, actually, coming from somebody who has somebody and they're like trying to explain to them. Let's just put it like this. You're married, right? I'm going to give you a scenario. You're married. The marriage was okay. It was a good marriage, and then it started to go bad, really bad. You have children, you have finances, you have bank accounts, you have all kind of things together. Nobody wants to just get up one day and say fuck life, like fuck whatever we had, because it's hard. It's not easy to do so. So also you have to
That's right.
remember that they
Damn
have a
right.
relationship. There's love. There's things that are connected between those people, even though it's not working. Some people don't want to separate, but they realize that their relationships are not working, right? So if you have exhausted almost everything that you can in a marriage, but you're not willing, or one person is not willing to let the other person go, then there are options that are placed on the table. They are not going to be traditional
Mm,
options for everybody. Not everybody is going to agree to anything and everything, right? So,
that's true.
when it comes to what I am trying to say, a person who has exhausted every option in a relationship is now willing to try something different. I feel it may seem selfish on the person whose mind has changed. Fuck it. Let's just stop saying person. Me. I'm that person. I'm person. That is the hardest thing to tell somebody that you have been
Excuse me.
married to for a decade is I no longer it the number one thing is clarity. It's clarity and transparency. If you hold these things inside of the body, it will make you sick as fuck. So to
Hmm.
come
That's
and
very
speak
true.
True
this to
lies.
someone and say, listen, this is how I feel. It
The
hurts
mental
me.
game.
It hurts you. But this is what needs to be said. If I hold it in, I don't want to look like I'm trying to do you wrong. So I'm speaking it now. This is how I feel. I don't want to be
Respect
married.
that.
I don't
Respect.
like the nature of our
This is
marriage.
true.
Yeah.
However, I am not willing to leave you, and you are not willing to leave me. So what now? I'm asking to possibly venture off and try something we haven't tried before, right? What
Uh,
the hardest part of that is making sure one person understands that I love you. I will always love you. We're choosing to do this together and going about it together. You can say that until you're blue in the face, but until you see your person with somebody else, none of that shit matters. None of that
Hmm.
shit matters. It sounds fun,
It
it looks
is.
that's
fun,
so
but
fucking
until
true.
you do it or until
I
you
agree with that.
Somebody
realize what
talking.
the
Whoever
fuck,
talking, come to the hot seat. I hear
That's
y'all
what I
back
just
there
Young,
said.
his
talking.
brother
It's
feels
Mr.
like
It's
he didn't want
Young
to
right
talk about
here.
it.
It's
got me,
Young.
bro.
He will
Come
talk
on,
about
Hey,
it.
listen.
Just
come
come to the
on.
hot
Yeah, so go in the
seat.
hot seat,
Like,
brother.
why
I'm not gonna
not?
But
lie to you. That's
he,
very
he,
fucking true.
Come on, let her keep
and
You
talking though,
can
people.
have
Yeah,
your
let her
Let her keep
keep.
talking,
opinion on the
people.
and
Let her keep
situation. You
talking,
can
people. She
conversate
she
as
doing
much
Hey,
as
good.
we
you
Let
can't
her
want,
hear you.
but
You gotta
talk.
once
sit in
you're
the
in the
seat to talk so we can hear
You
you.
situation,
got to sit in your hot seat,
Yeah.
man.
that's
It's a red
very
seat
true.
right
You
there,
can
bro.
have your opinion on the situation, but once you're in that predicament, it's a whole different
yeah,
scenario. Best
right,
believe
right,
that.
right.
But when you
So,
see
and
your
that's why I
significant
said,
other with somebody else, that holds a different weight. If you're
right,
mentally strong enough to handle that situation, then
Indeed, I
go
was.
forward. But if you're
right.
not,
So,
speak that
and that's
truth,
what I was saying
and
earlier.
that's the
hold,
real
hold,
shit.
so
Yeah.
the next thing,
It's
the
about
next part of
happiness,
that I was
really.
going to say is this. That is the marital aspect of trying to venture off into polygamy, polyamory, I don't know. But then you must think about this. If you do, then find the other person. Say even if that person does not agree, they've agreed to agree with you. That's not what they really feel, especially if you know them. So you're still going to have some aspect of sneaky. You're still going to try
And
to
you're gonna have
protect someone's
resentment,
feelings.
a
Hold on,
hundred
young.
percent.
You're still going to have those feelings of, damn, I must protect this person because I know deep down inside they don't accept it. However, they're doing it to make me happy. How much are you really going to relinquish onto another person? Right? So,
Yeah, that's when I leave for
once
me.
they fall in love
Mhm.
with another person, now they have to consider the feelings of that person. So it's a
Mm.
dual, it's duality of energy and feelings. Then that person has to worry about who they're trying to love. I think polyamory is for people who just want to be free and who do not really want relationships but want
Oh,
love of all ways. However,
okay.
upon listening
True.
to these
Very true.
conversations and like being a part of this, this is me. This is what I'm going through. Goddamn, yes, I agree.
Get a drink.
I think that I'm still not opposed to it. However, I think there may be a term because there's titles on everything. That I'm
Polymonogamy. Polymonogamy.
Wait,
I'm sorry, shut up.
No, what?
Shut up.
Wait,
I'm sorry.
I'm telling you,
What
but
what
not
Polymonogamous.
I'm interested.
Polly
Polymonogamous.
pocket.
If I was to do something like that, listen. If I was to commit,
That's a good
A
one.
lot of polys.
That's a good one.
yeah. If I was to commit, and I know that you shouldn't put stipulations on things that you really don't understand, so I'm gonna wait and just call myself curious. But
Go ahead, Westside, because I'm
If
gonna go
I-
after you.
if I must,
Go ahead.
if I must say that there is somewhere that I am here, if I was to go in this like full steam ahead, the way that I would want it, and Perby, where you at? Tell me if there's a title for this. I want if he is refusing to leave, and I'm refusing to leave him, and our connection is gonna stay. However, he's allowing me to branch. The other person that I'm with, I don't think I would be comfortable with him having. I would want two for myself.
Like
All
I
right,
said,
That's a
it's
triangle.
gonna be
That's like a
investing.
triangle.
That's what I
No,
just said.
You're at the
That's
no.
top.
hierarchy.
You're at the top.
And
And they're at the
hierarchy
bottom, and they don't
listen,
stand.
listen,
investment.
no,
Okay, go
listen,
ahead.
listen,
Yes,
listen.
separate
sorry.
separate
Mm.
situations. Not
Yeah, they're
not in the
separate. They
same.
don't involve each other. It's just you at the
Listen.
top.
Listen.
Right.
The
It takes a strong
term,
man.
the term she is saying is called polyandry.
You know,
Polyamory.
Polyandry is one woman, two dudes.
what?
That's not okay.
One
That's just called doing
woman,
what y'all
two
do.
dudes.
Okay, so
That's just
hold
called
on.
what y'all do.
Okay,
It's
so
called
why?
polyandry.
Okay, so hold on.
Two dudes.
Why
That's
would
reverse
somebody say
roles.
that the first thing y'all think about is a sexual manner? So what if she's
No.
having sex
Jesus
with one, but
Christ.
she's only
No, a lot of people
she's
do.
only emotionally involved with the other one, like they're not sleeping together or
Yeah.
none of that. He just emotionally is there
I
for
don't know.
her.
My mind and soul is
That's
Who,
empty.
very
what
unlikely.
man
That
wants a
is very
relationship
unlikely.
like
It
that?
doesn't
I
have to
don't
be
know.
There
physical.
are,
I do. I do.
it's
I do.
2023.
Doesn't have to be
Hey,
physical.
hey,
Listen, man.
Oh my
Just
goodness.
as emotional.
There
Listen to
are
me.
men.
Listen to me. I haven't said anything this whole time.
Emotional
I've
and
been sitting here
sexual are
quietly.
very,
You
Now, I'm
done
not
really
going to
good,
sit
D. You done
quiet
really
anymore.
good.
Listen, there is not one man who sit here and will say that the only thing that they want is an emotional. I just want, baby.
Price
I just
do?
want to sit
Yes,
here
I do.
and watch
I do.
TV with you. I just want to go
Hold on,
shopping
let me say
with
something.
you.
Let me say
I
something
don't,
real
no,
quick.
let me
does.
talk. I ain't said nothing. Why nobody said nothing? So don't nobody say nothing while I'm talking now. That's all I got to say.
All right, but
Now,
listen, real quick.
No, ain't no
Oh, you're
argument.
not done.
Listen,
You're
no
not done.
argument.
Go
Listen,
ahead,
me
go
be
ahead.
quiet.
I'm
That's
gonna
what
talk,
that
but I got a
means.
question for you, bro.
No, you want to be talk right now. So now,
on, Dave.
this is what
Come
I'm
on.
saying.
Come on.
That's what I
Come on, Dave.
All of these definitions, poly this, poly this, poly this,
My lighter at?
everybody is giving an excuse to be weak-minded. Everybody is giving an excuse. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Uh-oh.
Let me finish. I didn't
No.
interrupt anybody.
Uh-oh.
I don't understand. If I didn't interrupt anybody, why do I
You're
keep getting
good. I
interrupted?
just can't wait for my turn.
Okay.
Thank you. I wish you could wait in silence like I did, though. That's
I'm
what I
just going
wish. Can
over
you do
here
us
and
that
listen.
favor?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Now,
Let me mute myself.
all of this is an excuse to express your weak-mindedness. Now, I'm not saying that it is morally wrong, theologically wrong, whatever, to be with more than one person. Again, you have had history accounts that men of power, men of stature,
He is
had
speaking fucking
multiple
facts right now.
wives. That's a historical fact. So I'm not here arguing over the fact that you can be married to one person or you could be married to many people. I'm here arguing the fact of marriage. Now, let's redefine
There's
what
religions
marriage
that hold
is.
you can
Let's
marry
give it
three
another
women.
semantical term since we are in this etymological rephrasing stage now. So now, let's not call it marriage. Let's call it death partnership. That lady right there, boss lady 1975, is not my life partner. She is my death partner. I am going to be with her, and she is going to be with me to the day we die. No Ike Turner mess. This is what she has decided, and this is what I have decided. So come hell or high water, come anybody in the metaverse, come anybody in the real world, come anything, we have decided we will stay together. We will not, we will refuse to seek it in other people. We understand, just like Neuro said, that we evolve into different people, and at different stages, we have to learn to love that person. It is good for me to me enough as a man to love this woman because she changes. It is difficult for her enough as a woman to love this man because I change. And if I can find somebody that is going to love me and my craziness and my all of my craziness, I am going to stick with that regardless of what comes.
Hold on.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Let me finish, y'all, because this is my brother.
It doesn't matter what
ass.
form of my craziness comes in, because she has seen me at my absolute worst, at my absolute low. She's seen me cry. She's seen me broke. She's seen me broken. She's seen me at that, and I've seen her at that.
So
and
what makes her
again,
not be accepting to see you with someone else?
But
Before
we start this conversation,
let me say, hold on, let me finish this, Keelan. Please let me answer this. I know it's your show. Please.
It's a bit of a contradiction.
Because listen to me, we have decided we're not going to see anybody with. We have decided I'm not. So let me finish then. So now, let's not call it marriage. Let's call it death partnership.
Death partners.
We have decided that we will be death partners, and there is nothing that's going to do. There's nothing in life that's going to happen to violate
just
that.
let me talk after
So
him,
now, because it has not been easy, I have had opportunities. She has had opportunities to go our ways. If I had a crazy thought in my head to say, hey, baby, I woke up and I'm poly now. Listen, I didn't wake up and realize I was poly. You know what I woke up? I woke up and realized I didn't want her as a death partner anymore. And now I want to justify not having her as a death partner. But if I did not want, let me finish because I'm almost finished. 30 seconds and I'm done. 30 seconds and I'm done. 30 seconds and I'm done. 30 seconds and I'm done.
Go ahead.
Now, if I did not want her as my death partner, then I would not have signed legal documents, because it's more than tradition. It's more than tradition, because her and I, because we share a social contract. She now we are one. As the government, that's why when we got married, her name, my legal name is Reginald Tyrone Harris. Her legal name stopped being Rebecca Ann Chavis. Her legal name became Mrs. Reginald Tyrone Harris. Do you understand that? That happens in a social contract. That does not happen if I give you a letter and say, will you go with me? Check yes or no. And what we're having people that are getting letters, will you go with me? Check yes or no. They're checking yes, acting like they're married. You are not married.
Okay,
marriage
so
is also documented like
this is
hey, you talking about love before God and stuff like that?
I got my soapbox.
Before y'all go,
religion. I said a social contract. I never introduced religion.
But listen, okay, so I can't say, but when you say social, like for instance, I'm not making a point for the headsets, but when we talk about
to the
relationship.
Yeah, she's been sitting in that hot
Johnny,
seat.
let me talk for a second. Really quick.
Hold on, Johnny. Come on up in this chair, Johnny. Come on. Johnny, you can come on up. But before I let, hold on, before I let you go.
To say something
So
first,
this is what
Let her talk, Johnny.
Okay, hold on, baby. Hold on, just real quick, So what I wanted to say was, when you said weak is what I thought about, because I grew up in a home with married parents, and I grew up in a really
What's
strict
good,
Christian
Al?
home, and they end up getting divorced. So what I want to say is, when you say weak, and the reason why people do things because they're weak, you have to understand that your definition of weak and somebody else's definition. Because I know somebody right now where they're married and trying to be poly because they getting their ass beat, and they're ready to leave a relationship.
Can I
Hold on.
explain
No,
my
no, no, no,
definition?
no.
of
Those are
weak?
called adverse childhood experiences, and that
Okay,
means that
no,
your
what I'm
mindset has been
saying,
captured.
no. Okay, so what I'm
You
saying
want people
is,
to feel
when we
condemned.
speak
It
on a
seems the way that
broad
you saying it,
board,
Dean wants you to feel
we're speaking
condemned.
on a board of
I do.
white
I
people.
talk in harsh terms.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, people go outside of the marriage. They, like he said, you sign a contract. We're death partners. We in this motherfucker till we die. That means when he
Bang,
said that,
bang, boom,
it doesn't.
boom.
Hold on. It don't matter what the fuck happened. We here. But it comes to a point where some people like, nah,
Cheeks.
this ain't what I signed up for, even though I was with you for 10 years before I signed the contract. As of now, I can't take no more of that.
That's
Oh my
called
God.
buyer's remorse.
No,
Hey,
no,
man,
no,
we-
no, no.
That's
no.
called
dead,
buyer's
Dean.
We in the midst
remorse.
of a show, my brother.
That's
Hold
called
on.
buyer's
Hey, hit
remorse.
manage people on your
Let's
menu.
see-
Pull up your menu. Just
Hey,
look at
Breezy.
Yeah, just get
on
them
the
up
left.
out of here.
Yeah,
Hold on, hold on. Y'all
Okay.
gotta let Miss C Breezy talk.
So,
She's been
let-
sitting for
let
a
me-
minute. She's
let
been
me-
sitting
Go
for a
ahead,
minute.
go ahead,
Let Miss C
Breezy.
Breezy talk.
Go ahead, Breezy.
Send him an Uber, please.
I got 2 points.
He's
First
out.
of all,
He's
marriage
gone.
is a contract of ownership, and
Thank you.
marriage was
Thank you.
established because they wanted men to know that they own their women. So, with that being said, I'm going to end that one. My
I'll be
second one
honest,
is
the contract
that-
is more
Hey, my
Stop.
boy, we in the middle of
The
a
second
show.
one
Can you,
is
get off the
that-
stage for us real quick?
the only
You can
reason
speak
why
after her in the
I
hot
would-
seat. Don't interrupt her, baby.
The only reason why I would be involved in a poly is because I know for a fact, because I know me, I can't give one person everything that they need. There is no way I can do that. So I would do a poly with 3 women, or I would do a poly with 2 women and 1 man, but that man can't touch me. And
Oh,
that's,
shit.
So I just
Good,
wanted to
man.
throw a wrench in your conversations.
But what? Can you
but
stay
if-
right
No,
there?
that's no
Stay right
definition.
there. So hold on. So
Well,
stay
thank
right
you
there.
for that.
That's not traditional. But
It's
Right.
not.
Smoke 2
what the
people.
argument for me, if I be honest, is people feel like, let's say you're not married. This is the dynamic that you're creating going into the dating stage, and you being serious long term. Maybe you might marry them later, but this is your dynamic that you've created to be happy long term. How
Right.
did you come up with that? And it's not the traditional thing to do. You can't be with 2 people at one time in a household, and they said somebody's going to be lacking if you do that. Like,
That's
you're
not
going to give
true.
one person more, or somebody's going to
No,
be
I think it
without.
will be easier in
That's
the
not
household.
true.
Like,
The
if-
reason
if
why
it's
that's
a
not
definitely
true
not true.
is, like I said before, I can't give one person everything that they need. So if I'm with a woman, which I would be with a woman, I can't give her everything she needs. So if she can get that from a male or another female, it's all good with me because I already know my limitations.
So I think they're
Can I-
speaking to the people that they're like, no, that's not possible. What you mean that's not good
It is
with you
possible.
to let your
It definitely
partner go be with somebody else and
if I
fulfill something?
could,
That's your
when
job.
she's
That's
done,
your
I
job
would
if you're
say
with them.
something.
That's
No,
the
no,
Go
ownership.
ahead, La.
It is
That's the
possible.
ownership.
Lie, lie and West.
So, wait, what?
Exactly.
I
That's what I was
like
getting
that.
to.
The
But
point is-
okay, so okay, so hold on, y'all. Let
Only
Law
thing
and
is
West Side.
contract.
Let
And
them
then-
Okay,
and
go
then
ahead,
the
you go
female
first,
wins
Lo.
in that
Go ahead. No,
contract.
go, Lie, I want you to go ahead. 'cause you
Oh,
know
okay. I'm
you
sorry,
right.
Johnny. God darn it. Sit in my spot, Johnny. Go ahead.
You
sit
know,
right
so
there.
I'll
So
sit
I want
right
you
here.
to
I
go
want
ahead.
realistically.
God, dog.
Okay,
No.
so
I
basically,
will
what
be
I
able
wanted
to
to
sit
say,
Can I use this
I wanted
mic?
to say
You
this to
get
Dean.
50%.
Go ahead, Love.
Yeah, go
What I-
after
what
them.
I-
I don't
Go
have to be
after
the
them.
one that's married.
Hey,
Hold
I don't have
hey,
to-
hold on, hold on, hold on.
Everybody-
Hey,
hold on,
hold on.
Watch
Watch
the
the
cross
clock
talking.
speaking, y'all.
I
Watch the
got
cross
you.
talking,
I got
y'all.
you.
Watch
I
the
got
cross
you. I
talking.
got
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chocolate.
What I wanted to say, okay, you saw how you got the finger pointing and you got this look like your neck was about to fall out, stretch out. You see how that shit is like in somebody's face? So when they become unhappy in those situations and they try to withdraw themselves, they're made to feel condemned. One thing about it, I'm starting to realize a lot of people are actually walking away from marriages. You're very seldomly seeing people last 25 and 35 and 40 years and all this anymore. Because there is no more that strict hardcore you married me, you gotta stay, and if your feelings change, you're wrong, you a whore, I'm gonna beat your ass. How about that? Because you belong to me. You're
Come
my
on
wife.
now.
You're mine. Don't listen. Those are the things that happen behind these walls. You know what I mean? So for you
Yeah.
to sit here and try to make someone who currently is married feel as if she leaves this, she's wrong. Fuck a contract. That's control. If I ever feel like I want to leave a situation and say, you know what, this right here is hard. I'm not really loving you like I used to, and I don't feel the same way. Oh, you don't want to leave? Okay. Well, how about this? I shouldn't feel guilty because that is still me putting something forward to make everybody happy. Now, if I was to decide to want to leave that situation because I went to a courthouse and stood in front of somebody who is doctrine in their book that he's unsure about in some ways, sometimes, I got to feel guilty because I'm no longer happy. I'm human. I'm human.
But what makes you
And that's
invest in somebody
So,
else and
so
Okay.
can I respond to that?
She
She said that to me. She said that to me. She said that to me. I should be able to respond to that.
Hold on,
She directly said that to me. She directly said that to me.
I know, but
She
I gotta
directly
let
said that to me.
Westside. I
Whoa.
gotta let Westside
Whoa.
and Johnny go. I got to
Hold
y'all
on.
because in a minute
Okay,
we gonna be.
listen,
I'm about to end that real quick. All I gotta say
Because
is
I
what I
got
think
something.
is,
I got to respond to that, Okila.
don't bite me then. Damn. So what
I'm
I'm
not
gonna
gonna bite
say
you.
Hold on,
I promise you, I'm not
is-
gonna bite you. I
is if
promise you, I'm
it's-
not.
I think where you messed
When
up,
it- when
Dean,
it
is when
comes
you say
to-
you're weak.
Let
the weak part
me
even
let
touch-
let
that
me
touched
let
me
me
too.
explain.
Why
Let
are
me
you
explain
so
myself.
jumping and investing
Let me
into another
explain myself.
relationship and
Let
you're
me
not
explain
working on
myself.
yourself?
People
I mean,
could
we
honestly be
asking
saying we're
Because-
stronger
Can I
than people that's
explain myself?
I was saying earlier.
I explain
Sometimes
myself?
these
Dead ass.
This
feelings
is why I got
you
loud
like
right there. See, bro.
traditionally.
This is
Okay,
why I
I'm
got
sorry.
loud
I'm about to
right
let
It's
you go, Dean.
tradition.
But what I was trying to say, that
Tradition.
Neuro,
It's the
the
tradition
reason
that's
why
holding
is
people back.
sometimes you do feel yourself and you question yourself to say, this isn't natural. This ain't what my mom and them and my ancestors and whoever else and grandmama and
you
them
feel
did.
bad.
Why do
Right,
I
I got
feel
that.
this way?
But
And there's
that's not
what I'm
what I'm
saying
saying. But
is,
that's not what I'm saying.
But you
Okay,
asked
so
a-
what I'm
can I
saying
answer the
is-
question? Because these are a lot of questions
Go
directed
ahead,
to
Dean.
me.
But that's not what
and
I'm
they're
saying.
like,
I
they're like,
asked why she
they're like,
wasn't
they're
willing to
like
work
10
on herself
questions
instead of
back
just
to
jumping
back.
into
And
another
so
relationship.
that's all. Can I answer? So,
Especially when
okay.
I don't feel like the problem
Okay.
is me currently. It's when I go
Okay.
to what I
She's-
think is the problem at the moment and we are unable to fix it. I don't think the problem is me. I don't really honestly think the problem is him. I think the
That
problem
doesn't necessarily
is
mean that you
how
have,
we got here.
Can I?
but that you're the problem. It means that
Can-
why you're not willing to work on yourself first before just investing into
Well,
a new
because
That's not what
I
she
don't feel like
feels.
the
She's
problem
tired.
is me.
She's
Y'all
tired.
taking
Can I
your
say
time
something?
on the
Because
podcast and
this
let
was
them
again.
Go ahead, Dean.
Was
Okay, let Dean go. Go ahead.
Again.
Answer a question.
Hold on.
Let Dean answer a
Again.
question, Westside, and then you chime
Again.
in as soon as
I
Dean
don't
done.
think
and
it
then
was
we-
him. I
So
just
let me.
don't think
So
it's a
Go
Go ahead,
again.
Dean.
So let me.
Go ahead, Dean.
So again.
Go ahead.
So again, you said something about my abrasiveness. I was very abrasive
Just a
and I
little.
was very loud. And the reason I was loud is because I had to talk over everyone who was talking. Because while I sat here quietly and didn't say anything, just like when you was talking, I sat here quietly. Like now, I can talk at a nice tone because I don't have to overtalk everybody. Now, the reason I come off like that is because of my profession. Now, in my profession, I have to talk abrasively. I'm a pastor. I'm a bail bondsman. I'm a
That
wrestling
makes
coach.
sense, though.
Everything about me,
Um,
everything about me
Let 'em
comes off
talk, y'all.
abrasive. So now,
that
so
don't make it
now,
okay.
if see, there you go again. There you go again. Once you start talking to me,
Sir,
because
but
I
because you're a
showed you
pastor
courtesy,
It was what
doesn't
you
mean that
said,
I
not
have
because
to
I
lower my
showed you
demeanor
courtesy.
as well.
Do you,
Your
ma'am? Do you,
religious
do you,
background does not change that I
ma'am,
also have
ma'am,
those same feelings. But I'm
ma'am?
not
Do you show
trying
how?
to beat you into
Okay,
We're
forcing
talking
you
okay,
to
about
feel
so
like
simple
you're wrong for
respect.
we gonna
feeling.
go one
That's
at
We're
a
what
time,
talking
y'all.
religion
about
and
simple
We gonna go
tradition
one
respect,
at a
fucks
time.
ma'am.
people up. That's that
Ma'am, we're
control.
talking
It was
about
People don't
simple
Okay,
like
so we gonna
respect,
listen,
ma'am.
y'all.
People
We
don't
gonna
like
we
No,
gonna
no, no, no,
go.
Keita,
We
you
gonna
get
go.
hold on,
Listen, we
Keita,
gonna go. We gonna
you,
go.
you,
We gonna
you,
go one at a time. We gonna let
you,
Dean finish. We gonna let
thank
Dean
you.
finish, and
Thank
then
you
we gonna
so
go from there.
much.
Come on,
Thank you
Dean.
so
Come on.
much.
Come on.
Because it is impossible to have a conversation while you're talking. It's impossible. You can't listen and talk at the same time. So now,
Your demeanor
because
talks
of my
louder.
back, I have
Sorry.
because of my background, I do come off abrasive sometimes. I have no problem with that. People come off abrasive. Now, when I said the people are weak-minded, if you're not a weak-minded individual, that should not
How
have
does it affect
triggered you.
Mhm.
So now, I don't know you personally. I have no idea what you're going through in your life. So I don't understand why you would take what I say in a moment that
I
I'm
tried to
trying to
tell
talk over.
you.
Let me finish, baby girl. You can't. You again. You gotta learn something called active listening. That's what you got to learn, because even when I'm talking to you right now, you're so defensive. You can't hear what I say because even though you're quiet in your mind, you're trying to form a response. And so you're still not even listening to me. So my words go over your head, but the audience is listening. So I'm going to talk to them through you. Okay.
You
So
can't do
now,
that. I speak
if
for
I'm
myself.
yeah, I can. Well, that's why I'm talking to them through you. You understand? Ventriloquist. I'm like a
See,
puppeteer.
it's
You
it's the
understand?
demeanor. It's
Let me
not what you're
finish,
saying
baby.
that's not
Of
making you
course,
listen. It's
of
that you're
course I
trying
come
to.
off condescending.
Yo,
Baby, you
but
listen, baby,
exactly, but
listen,
you can't have a
listen,
condescending
listen, listen
conversation
to me,
with
baby.
someone
Okay,
who's
y'all.
trying
Well,
So
to
this
baby,
what we gonna do.
baby,
Okay, so
baby,
y'all
baby,
look,
baby,
look, look,
baby,
look, look, look,
let me
look. Okay,
finish.
what she said.
Nah,
Let
you're
me
this
finish.
what we gonna do.
That's
This
saying
what
that
we
you're
That's
gonna
my
do.
tone.
We
I
gonna,
can't help that, baby.
Listen,
Dean,
what
it
you
was not your
saying
tone.
is
Dean, it was
demeanor.
not your tone. It was
That
not your
was my
tone. You
tone.
actually said
I
what
didn't
you
say
Coming off
said when everybody was
disrespectful
quiet.
almost.
That weak-minded joint that you said, bro. Like, if you want to
Let
keep
me
it a
finish
band,
it then.
Hold on,
Let me
hold on, hold on.
finish it.
Nah, you already
Let
said
me.
it. I
I
got it when
can't
you said it
hold
the
on
first
because
time.
if
I got it
y'all
when you
had
said
a
it the first
problem
time.
with
That's why
it,
I acted the way I did.
then understand why I said
That's
it.
your
Then
opinion.
understand
That's your
why I
opinion,
said
but
it.
it's a little
Because
skewed,
no,
though.
that's not my opinion. It's a fact, and I'm gonna show you
It's
why it's
not
a
a fact,
fact.
my brother. It's
I'm
not
gonna
a
show
fact.
you.
okay,
I'm gonna
so
show you.
okay,
Why,
so
I'm gonna
listen.
show you
So
what's
listen,
a
you
fact.
could get into
Even
religion
the
and
audience
everything.
got offended when I
Listen.
said weak
But now
minded.
he wants.
You
Read
blanking
that
it.
out.
Okay,
You
so
put
listen.
statements
I
around
still got
poly
Listen,
offended
hold
because
on.
I said
You
weak
blanking it around poly
minded. Who
This is what we
people.
gonna do.
personalized that moment
This is what
as
we
if
gonna do.
I was
We gonna-
talking
this is
directly to
what-
them because I said that?
Hey, give it up to
This is
Keith
my
for having
point
one of the
exactly.
Okay,
dopest
so this is what we
shows
gonna
right now.
do.
Only
To die
if
down.
I
To
throw-
die it down.
For
To
real.
die it down. Okay, so look, I did. I
got my
felt
piece to say
a certain
still.
type of way. So look,
I
I'm
can't
gonna let
help
okay,
it.
so I'm gonna let Johnny talk to try to die. I'm gonna let Johnny talk real quick to try to die this down, and then we're gonna try to get back to it. Come on, Johnny. I'm gonna give your
Can y'all
come on.
hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
want to
John.
say I
Yes,
honor
we can hear
everybody in
you.
the room for us as a people having a clear conversation and everybody getting their points out. I'll just ask, let's talk one at a time, please, so we can hear where people are coming from. The only thing I wanted to say is because I heard religion too many times, and amen. New church
Don't
here
start.
in the metaverse, here, Word of Grace Ministry. Y'all can
Don't
find me
start.
Thursday and Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern. The Word
Shout
of
out,
God is
shout
going
out,
forth.
shout out.
Some of my memories is in here. Praise the Lord, everybody.
Are they gonna get a whole bunch of cussing?
Hey,
He brought you to the wrong
no,
place,
oh my
baby.
God.
He brought you to the den, honey.
Let him
tell you something.
Go
get
ahead.
in. Let him get in.
I think love is a beautiful thing, and I think love should always, in every expression that it is seen in, should be respected and understood. If we're going to understand why we're having this conversation, we have to understand where we are as a people and why we are there. And if we can look at the evidence of what has happened to us societally and culturally, there's a reason we're talking about poly relationships. There's a reason we're talking about monogamous relationships because people won't love, but we are in a predicament where we need consistent healing and self development in areas before we come in. And I think a lot of times what we do in relationships, we come wounded and we look for that other person to heal certain aspects of us. And so we have this list of things that we want and that we need that are not always possible for that person to provide. And sometimes we need to stand alone and be okay with self healing and self development, then go into a relationship to cohabitate, because then a lot of those monogamous relationships can survive because a lot of times you have needy people going into a relationship needing way more than what that person can offer them, and they find they're not fulfilled. And I'm not saying that's the only reason people are poly. I really think if you look in our major cities, I think we're outnumbered 8-1. I think is that most of the ratios 8 women to 1 man.
Yep, that's what I heard.
something
You're
like
right.
that.
You're right.
Some people gonna get tired
Some
of sitting at
places
home.
215.
And those what's those new things y'all be using? Y'all need the Holy Ghost. What's that thing
Vibrators.
called? The rose and
Oh,
stuff
I'm
like
sorry.
that. You won't pray
Yeah,
after this
vibrator.
25
You
years.
dipping up in some television.
Amen.
Yeah.
But
Talk about the
that
rose
only
balance.
that only goes amen, so far. And so you got a lot of
Preach, Bishop.
you have a lot of people putting themselves in predicaments because of loneliness. That are doing so because they're tired of sitting at home, they're tired of being alone, and you got good men telling nice women no 3, 4, and 5, and 6, and 7 times a week. It's almost like the roles have totally switched. So I don't think religion is to be blamed, and I do want to say this, and I'll shut up. I think a lot of monogamous thinking toward relationships is a Western idea. And when you look through the eyes of Western Christianity, through the eyes of the kind of like the oppressor, amen, you see monogamy at a high level. But if you go through the New Testament where they're talking about one man,
It's a fact.
a man should be a man of one wife, that's only talking about church leadership. Amen. And so, and
Okay.
I'm not saying I
I pre-
condone
And
poly
That's correct. You are
relationships, but
correct.
it
You are
is
correct.
biblical for a man to have more
But
than
why
one wife.
not?
You are
But
correct.
we'll leave that
Okay,
there.
so-
Amen. That's
You are
it.
correct.
Johnny, y'all
You
give
are correct.
y'all hold on real quick, y'all. But y'all give Johnny a round of applause because Johnny did his best to try to die down, and I thank Johnny because Johnny is a man of God, so
Oh,
he came up in this lion's
listen,
He
den.
actually stated
But
facts.
hold on,
Funny, he
I want
called
to let
everybody
Price, y'all. No,
needy, and ain't nobody
No,
get
let
mad,
hold.
but
Let my
I
brother
said
go.
we
Let my
could
brother
got
go.
mad.
And somebody was
Okay,
mad at you.
okay.
No,
West Side.
I'm explaining when I go. I'm
West
explaining.
Side.
That's funny.
I'm explaining.
That's
Okay,
funny.
okay. So listen. And I
I
want to stop for a minute, and I want to let y'all know that all of us, when y'all see us up here, we are only giving our own perspectives. We are not mad at each other. We don't not dislike. We are
Facts,
only having
facts.
a
That's right,
conversation.
Dean. That's right.
So I want y'all to know
right.
that it does get heated because, and it might sound heated, but we are only giving our own
Strong
personal
people,
opinion. So come on, West Side.
Strong opinion.
Come on, West
I
Side.
got a
Sometimes
few
if you
points
didn't
to
met a
make.
biscuits.
And I hope this don't ever be taken the wrong way.
And
So,
I'm gonna say real quick, I'm gonna let West Side go. And I'm gonna let Price. I'm gonna see if La got something to say. And I'm after La, and then we gonna close it out after. Okay, come on, West Side.
all right, so I just want to hit on a few things because I've been, like I said, I've been back in the cut chilling. So the issue is when people hear weak-minded, if you go by the definition, it has no other choice but to be the meaning, right? So when you say weak-minded, that is meaning you lack the intellectual capacity to understand. So therefore, that is the meaning. And as somebody who I own a business, I work in corporate America, I've also worked for security companies and been a bouncer. So I understand, and I grew up in the church. So I understand your stance. But at the end of the day, how you talk to people, your tone of voice, your afflictions, whether it's a escalated
Only
situation or
weak-minded
not.
people would have got upset. Only weak-minded people
Hold
would have got
on, bro.
offended.
Hold on, now. Bro, you gotta hold on.
That's
You
all
want
I'm
respect. If you want respect when you talk,
Ain't
you gotta
nobody give it to me.
So
Ain't nobody give it to me.
I gave it to you. I enjoyed it you one time. I can't do it when nobody else did.
I'm gonna give it to you, then, my brother. There you go.
Appreciate
You got it.
So again, you gotta de-escalate the situation. As security, you know this. We don't try to escalate the situation by coming in like no. If we gotta go to there, we gotta go there. But this ain't the situation, bro. So just be mindful of how you talk to people.
Anybody, because I don't need a
hold on.
lecture on how to talk to people. Anybody who, again, because everybody was talking, you're right. My voice is one that will carry over everybody's voice, and I use that to my benefit. And so if everybody
That's
is in the
not-
room talking loud, I can overtalk everybody, and I will overtalk everybody.
All right,
So
and all
now,
that's cool. All that's
give
cool,
me,
bro.
well,
But at the
give
end
me
of the-
my,
at the
well,
end of
give
the
me
day-
my space.
Hold on,
Well,
hold
you
on.
just asked for something, and I gave it to you.
I wasn't done talking to
You
begin
just,
with.
you just asked something, so I gave it to you. So now let me say this. My vocal tone may have been abrasive. My vocal tone may have been very, very vocal. Whatever it is. Again, I don't care what type of vocal infliction someone says. If someone comes and uses a disparaging racial term that is for a white person, I am not going to get offended. I don't care what type of vocal infliction. I don't care how they presented themselves. I don't care how they came off. You know why I'm not going to get offended? Because they won't talking to me. If somebody is not talking to me, I am not going to get offended. And it does not matter it does not matter my vocal infliction. I'm going to stand behind this. I'm going to stand behind this. I said it and I said it. You was weak-minded. Now, if anybody got mad, if anybody got offended, if anybody felt a certain type of way that felt like I was talking about you personally and I've never had one conversation with you, that's not my business. That's your
speaking on a situation, my nigga.
That situation that was about me, that means
you said anybody in that situation is weak-minded.
I was talking about
Dean, let whole finish. I got something to say too. I want him to finish.
Hold on. He made a general statement.
What's up?
He made a general statement, and that wasn't like towards anybody. Secondly, if you were triggered by something, it's fine to say that you were triggered by something, but we're not going to yell at each other because that's just not what we do. We got to be better as a black community.
You hear me?
Thirdly, weak-minded means lack of determination. We're not going to take that away from what it actually means. Secondly, on top of all of that, it wasn't directed at anyone. He made a general. He made a general statement about how he felt about it in general. It wasn't directed at anybody. It was a blanket statement. If you're feeling offended, it's not what was said. It was what triggered you. But it's
I'm not triggered.
It's not about what you said. It's about what triggered you.
No, you good. You good.
Let me get these last 2 points, and I'm gonna be out your way.
Go ahead.
I was offended, and I had no stake in the fight.
He's saying that I'm not poly, and I still feel offended.
Listen here, bro, and I promise y'all to God, I'm gonna be done.
That's hilarious.
At the end of the day, you are speaking on anybody that is going through that situation.
Like
so they have the right to feel offended. And you say whatever you want, and that's cool. But just know that everybody's moving. Okay, so understand that you're not going to agree. I ain't agree. We're going to agree, disagree. So I'm going to move on to my next point.
Let me talk. You done? Oh, you got the next one. Go ahead.
So I'm not done. So
situation. I understand that we're going to agree to disagree. We're going to move on. So
we're not going to agree to disagree about what I said and what I meant.
Next part of my segment. All right, brother. Next part of my segment. So it seems like at the end of the day, a lot of people are in marriages or relationships where they're not fulfilled in getting something from somebody, right? So as somebody who has been married for how many years?
13.
20 in March.
20 years. That's something I desire to have, right? So what piece of advice can you give to people that are going through a situation to where they feel like they can't give their all to somebody to give what they
but there's no hope, like they've tried everything,
right? And then what can you and what as a black man that has a 20-year-old marriage, what tips and tricks do you feel benefited you in your marriage to make you guys that strong to last that long?
The one thing that made us last this long was my ability to understand that I had times that I had a weak mind. I was a weak-minded person. I made wrong decisions. I did the wrong. Let me finish, Keela. Let me finish. The one thing that made us last was my ability to see my own weakness. And when I saw my own weakness, my own vulnerability, my own frailties, all of that, everything that was bad about me. And what I needed somebody in my life that when I was weak would be strong. That's what made us last. It wasn't sex. It wasn't any of that. It was the commitment that we said to each other that we were gonna be here until the day we closed our eyes. Period, point blank. And it was me realizing that I had moments of weakness. It was me being able to look in the mirror and say, you know what, Reggie Harris, you a weak person. And if you keep walking through life like this, you are going to die alone.
I got you, Herb. Hold on.
Find somebody.
And I want to say,
let me finish because you asked me a question, bro.
I'm about to pay my cameraman another segment.
Find somebody who will complement your weakness. And the one thing that I can tell everybody in this place is
Speak
the
to the people
one
that
thing
married
that
somebody
you
that
the
didn't.
one thing that if you are married, if you're looking for marriage, whatever it is, if you're looking for somebody and you don't want to be alone, you have to be able to look in the mirror and not be mad at your weakness. That's what you have to do if you want to be able to make it, because I promise you, in order to stay in a marriage for 20 years, you're going to have to be strong.
So
Okay, so
And when
we're gonna-
I'm weak,
okay, huh?
she's strong.
with that.
When she's weak, I'm strong.
All right, Michelle.
So
It's a
speak on.
commitment we made.
So speak on.
No, I'm
how
saying
do you?
Michelle Obama talked about that.
no.
you got one
What
more
I was gonna
question?
say. Go ahead, Price, because I'm gonna hit all the points he hit.
Okay.
Afterwards,
All right, and I just want to
writing it down.
clarify,
Go ahead, Price.
for me, because I'm from like a loud family, your tone ain't had nothing to do with the uproar, in my opinion. It was literally what you said. Like, just you could have whispered that shit, and it would have had the same reaction.
Nobody, you didn't get mad when he called y'all needy.
We did, but
You didn't get mad when he called y'all needy. Nobody got mad when he whispered needy. Not one person was upset when he called y'all
He didn't say
needy.
what you said, my brother. He didn't say what you
I
said.
said weak and he said needy. What's the difference?
It is a
I
difference.
said
Look
weak,
up the
he said
definitions.
needy. What's the
But listen,
difference?
but Dean, all right.
Oh, you
this is
you
for
don't
the
mind
entire-
being
hold on, hold on.
needy.
This is for the entire
You don't
audience.
mind being
If
needy.
y'all-
You don't
if
mind
y'all
looking
are-
needy.
if-
You
hey,
don't
listen, I
mind-
don't look
you don't
needy,
mind being
and I'm not
known as a
weak-minded
needy
either. I
person.
wasn't offended by you saying weak-minded, my brother. Hold on.
Listen, my
Hey,
ears
listen,
done
for
the
everybody,
purchase.
hold on,
You
excuse me.
just
For
said
every,
you
I didn't
was.
say I was
You just
weak-minded.
said
Come
you
on,
was.
dog. No, I didn't.
You
Hold
just
on,
said
my
I said
ears
that
done
in my
the
mouth,
purchase.
Dean.
My ears
You
done-
putting words in my mouth,
got
Dean?
to
Come
bring
on,
that
bro.
back.
All right, listen. Listen, everybody in the audience. Hey, Dean, I'm talking to the audience. I'm talking to the audience. I'm talking to the audience.
Hold on.
All right, listen.
Price
Listen to me.
said you could have whispered it, and it was still kind of let
It would have had
Price
the same
talk, y'all.
reaction,
Let him-
at least from
because-
everybody up here, I would say.
Needy
excuse me,
didn't
though.
from Pastor
Hello.
Johnny.
Okay,
Listen, Dean,
let
Dean. Reverend Dean.
Price go, y'all.
All right.
Let
So,
Price go.
For
Reverend
anybody,
Elder, however you wanna do it.
hey, this has been like a real intense conversation. For anybody who wants education without the yelling, all that kind of stuff, there is a woman on Instagram. Her Instagram page is called progressive_love_academy. She goes in depth. She's a black woman. She is married. She's been married for probably as long as Dean or longer, and they have been in a poly relationship the entire time. She goes through the benefits. She goes through the negative stuff, all that stuff. So you all want to educate yourself. She's a beautiful woman to follow, to listen to what she has to say. She calls her program, and she's a marriage coach. She calls her program Divorce Proof Marriage, is what that is. Divorce Proof Marriage. But to touch on the weak-mindedness, because what you were saying is, and people got offended because it's a blanketed statement, just like somebody saying black people or saying a race or something like that. You blanking it whatever you say. So when you saying weak-minded, if you're talking about poly people and claiming because that's what you said.
Poly people was mischaracterize what I say. You're not gonna mischaracterize what I say. I never said poly people were weak-minded.
So say it one more time, Dean. Say what you said.
Your comment
Say
with,
it in as
if
few
you
words as
say
possible.
it, that's not what I said.
Okay, say what you said, Dean. Say what you said.
I put the bottle
What
up.
I said
Hold on.
was,
Can I switch seats
And
so
don't
y'all
judge
can
me.
argue
Hold on,
with each
excuse me.
other?
because
Nero.
no,
y'all yelling
you
in my
asking me to
ear.
say what I said
Okay.
verbatim. We're gonna have to go back to the tape. for that.
What's your thoughts?
Hey,
Who is that?
Now,
Here go five.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
go ahead.
I ain't even gonna
I
say
can tell you exactly what I've been trying to tell you
Hey,
what
we
I
can
said.
party up after the
Okay,
show.
so
Oh,
I'm gonna let you go five. Hold on. Let's
you
hold
want me
on
in the
real
pit
quick.
headphones.
So before we go any further, I'm gonna
Sorry.
let
Put
Price
my mic down.
finish. When Price finish, I'm gonna let Fireball speak. So we're gonna let Price talk completely, even if he points or say Dean. Let him finish.
I ain't gonna say his name.
Okay, so hold on, y'all.
beating a dead
Hold on. I gotta, because listen, I didn't listen. So I'm gonna let Price speak. Let Price speak because he has been sitting here for a while and only been kind of chiming in. Let this man speak. Once he's done, we'll let Fireball speak and we'll go from there. I'm doing something to where we're gonna have an after thing tonight because I knew this was gonna be a touchy subject. I knew that. So I've made a space. My cameraman. I've made it to where we're gonna all be able to say what we need to say. So Price, I want you to go ahead and finish what you have to say.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say everything. Correct me if I'm wrong afterwards. But what I heard you say is essentially talking about people in marriages that essentially kind of give up on their marriages, want to cop out in their marriage, and this and that. Talking about seeing other people or looking into other people. When in actuality, when you think rationally, when you're dealing with more than one person, you are devoted.
Hold on. Hey, y'all,
Who
no
is
cross
that?
talking out
Who's
there,
that?
Who is that?
Hey, no cross talking out there, yo.
Who they talking?
Yeah,
Well,
I think he
I mean,
made
he
it
doesn't
blow
know
over
that he's
so
on
nobody
every
can hear
He
him.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
He
My
giving
bad,
children
my
out
bad.
here.
Does the
He
elder-
making sure children ain't in here.
What?
Nah, we
I don't
good.
know. Say what's up. All
He
right,
making sure the children get out of here.
Oh,
Now we
got you.
done.
Okay, got you.
Okay,
Oh,
we good.
okay.
All right.
Go
So
ahead,
back where
Brian.
I was leaving off, like what was being said and what I heard is that people in marriages that kind of like give up and seek other people while still being married are weak-minded. That's what I heard you say. So with that being said, like it's not really being weak-minded because people and I'm talking about poly because that's the topic. In poly relationships, again, we're not going out here fucking. We are in relationships with intent. We love all our partners. And this is a true thing because, in fact, love is not limited. It transcends time, space, all that shit. You can hear a song that your mom played when you was 3 and she sung that shit to you. It will make you cry because that's the love that came through that song. Love transcends all that shit. So you can love more than one person. And then when you are in a relationship with 2 people, you're not weak-minded because you're still working on the original relationship. If that's the case, you're married and you end up venturing into poly. And it takes more effort because you have to, from a man's perspective, women take a lot of care. You know what I'm saying? Women naturally are more emotional than men. You have to take the care, the time, the patience with women. And if you have 2 and you are dedicated to both women, you have to give them your all. And it is possible. You just have to be a man about your shit. You know what I'm saying? And you have to literally sit there, have these conversations with women, be open, transparent with them, and actually pay attention to their feelings and emotion, both women involved. It's not like you can't give your all to one other person. If you're saying that you can't give yourself to multiple people, in terms of what you were using the word, that's weak-minded. You know what I'm saying? If you want to keep it a band. That's all I'm gonna say. Because what's her name out there? Sea Breezy actually
Okay.
commented and said something I wanted to say, and so did
sounded
Ho.
like a
So that's all.
whole-
Okay, so we're gonna let Fireball go. Come on, Fire. Come on,
That
Fire.
No, it's not an ego.
What
thing.
I
It's
said.
not an ego thing at
Okay,
all.
hold on.
You got to.
But what I'm saying, this is
I ain't
what I'm
triggered,
saying
bro.
though,
I'm
y'all.
not triggered at all.
I promise
Listen,
you did, bro. I
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
you guys
So,
have
hey,
your.
That's fine.
Okay,
Because I
so
love all my women. You can't.
Hold
Go
on,
ahead,
hold on,
Fi.
come on.
Hey,
Just all people
go ahead,
let
Fi.
me
Go ahead,
talk.
Fi.
hold on. Go ahead, Fi.
So, yeah.
Let's let Fi talk.
Listen to me now. Man, I got off work. You know what I'm saying? I had an alert on my motherfucking phone. And the motherfucker said a polyamorous man got 3 white chicks. You know what I mean? This shit was a special alert on my phone, man.
A special alert.
Just so happened that day, I'm telling you the truth. Yeah, listen.
Oh shit!
So I read the shit. He say they went to school together, him and the first wife, the one he married. They went to a university together. And then about 8 or 9 years in, they met another female who the woman thought that could, you know what I'm saying, she was gorgeous and that the man may like her and she was, you know, she was a beta chick. She could, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Years later, they met another younger lady. And they say they're doing great.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Research shows that they're happy. Poly people, research shows that poly people are either as happy or happier than married people that's monogamous. That's a fact. Look it up.
And
Look
so,
it up. It's fact.
and so,
Research. Come on.
hold on, you
What
interrupt
people,
me.
what people write doesn't necessarily
Oh,
mean
hey,
a fact. It just makes it
hey,
something from somebody's opinion
excuse
that made it to the top of the list.
Hey, but
No,
we got
no,
people talking
Shawty,
about
no.
monogamy.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all let Bob finish.
Okay,
Let Bob finish. Hold on. Let him get his point. Let him get his point, y'all. Let him get his point. He in the
So
hot
this
seat.
is what I'm saying is what we're gonna do is we are going to
Let him
be
finish, Keith. Let him
acceptable
finish.
and receptive of the different dynamics. Come on, Fi.
So sometimes you be in a monogamous relationship, and you always thinking in your head, man, he don't satisfy me this way, or she don't satisfy me that way. You know what I'm saying? I wish I had more here or more there. You know what I'm saying? Opening up to a poly relationship. You know what I'm saying? It goes back to like Price was saying. You really have to be open, and even the parts that you don't know about a woman, you got another woman to fill that in. You know what I mean? And work it together like a root. You know what I'm saying? And you can grow like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So like I was saying just now.
Thank you, sir.
There are some of us like me. Like I said, if I was to tell you my background, how I was raised, what my family stands for, and what we are about, I probably would be put on a tree and hung for being even entertaining a poly relationship. And it made me question myself. And that goes back to what Neuro said. Why won't you guys get out a hurt relationship and just heal yourself? Why are you lacking something else? It came to the point where when I was in that relationship, the person told me, well, you're always emotionally unavailable. So it wasn't like I was seeking something from them that I wasn't getting, because what I want us to be aware of as a community, it's okay. We do shit that we don't understand. And I know, the reason why I wanted to iterate on what Dean said when he said he wasn't meaning no harm. He was saying from his position and what he's aware of. Am I right or wrong? If I'm wrong, correct me.
I was just talking. I
perspective.
said I cannot let
because the reason why I say that, because I felt some type of way, and this is my family member, and I know he didn't mean me no harm. I know he definitely didn't mean y'all. Go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt, and I don't mean to be rude, because it's your show.
No, go ahead, because this is the big thing now.
I'm in the road right quick. Hey, man, all that thin skin shit, man. All of those, boy, stop.
Hey,
please, man. That shit is all that thin skin. Oh, and they said that and all that, man. But y'all got to be strong, man. This 2023, man, all that extra shit, man. Y'all must be strong, man.
We strong, but
for real, man.
As a community. I'm gonna let you talk, but I always make it aware that as a community we have to meet each other. We have to meet each, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I want. Thank you. What I'm saying is, we have to meet each other where we're at. Fireball might be up here with his tough skin, because scientists already show we have the toughest skin there is. That's why they think they can do anything to us. But anyway,
no, not just. I'm talking about mentally.
Hold on. What I'm saying is, we as a community, we have to meet each other individually where we're at. I'm not saying cater to nobody and come out of what you believe in and go into somebody else's. Oh no, I'm not.
Can I clarify what I was saying?
You're definitely saying cater.
No. Hold on.
You know,
so what I'm telling you is,
be nice
if you probably
and tiptoe around it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not tiptoeing.
To try to help somebody.
So anybody that know me in this audience, anybody in this audience, that anybody in this audience that know me personally,
you can't tell me not to holler.
That's why it's called. I am Iamchekela speak.
That's all I said.
No, you know this my dog. I fuck with fire. Anybody that know me personally know I'm known for my mouth. I'ma say what the fuck I think and what I feel. But also I'm compassionate and I'm human. So therefore, when I speak with you, I'm gonna meet you where you at. So I'm Shakila. I'm from the hood. I'm ghetto, but I've worked in professional places. So when I go to certain environments, I meet my ghetto crackhead people where they at, and I have a conversation. When I go to work, when the doctor talks to me about a patient, I meet him where he at because he's professional. So what I do is I meet people. I don't cater. I meet you at the level of your cognitiveness of where you're at, and that's period.
That's your.
We all, as a black community, have things about us.
That's your.
Okay, so us as black people have things about us that we're embarrassed of, that we don't talk about, and we hide. We go to drugs. We go to all kind of different things instead of having a place to go to talk about it. So I came to the metaverse to provide a space in every type of form of a way. If you a man, you a woman, you a trans, you whatever the fuck you is, if you black and white, I'm sorry, this for everybody. But if you don't have a space to speak about what you go through on a daily basis, I am Shakila. I fucking bring that. Period. With my background. I meet you where you at. I'm not catering to nobody. I meet you where individually where you at. Okay, so who was next?
Can I
go ahead.
Show no.
I love my dog. Go ahead, Fire.
So
That's
can I explain?
Are you sure? I'm not. I'm not saying anything about your space. I'm not saying anything about your space. I'm just saying as far.
Arguing in my ear, and I'm going back by the second.
You got it, Nero.
You owe me an AirPods and some other things.
Okay.
I was just speaking as far as in general also. You know what I'm saying? And even people who are not necessarily in the same generation, you know what I mean? I'm a little bit older than a lot of people in here, but at the same time, my voice is very necessary too. You understand what I'm saying?
Are.
It just, you know
You
what I mean?
are.
Because my upbringing was enough to allow me to be here today and still be able to identify with you all.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes,
So I ain't trying to interrupt y'all polyamorous conversation.
No. You
know
are
what I'm saying?
good. You are
Polyamorous
good. I always,
conversation.
if anybody, if anybody tell me if I'm lying, I always say your perspective is your experience, and that's why I give everybody that I meet grace. And even if I've cussed you out, I've tried to understand you on the back end because your experience creates your perspective. I don't care who you are, what kind of degrees you got, whatever your background is. What you went through created why you think the way you think.
It was sort of just like when he asked that kid to leave. You know what I mean? He asked the kid to leave because the conversation people start cursing. It can get heated, but at the same time, it got heated because of the simple fact somebody got a point that they want to make heard and make known. So my point is, and I'm gonna make heard and make known. Y'all can waste time doing it, but you're gonna have to get some thick skin. You're gonna have to goddamn everything can't be personal. You know what I mean?
Everything up here thick, baby.
And you have to be able to
everything
have
up here
discernment.
thick. You ain't gotta worry about it. Everything up here
They
thick.
call it discernment. You know what I'm talking about? So
discernment.
I'm gonna let it slide right
come
now.
on, Hope. All right,
it ain't the fact that it was about thick skin. Like again, it's just the cognizance of knowing what you're saying. I didn't have any stake in the fight because again, I couldn't be poly. So, but at the same time, if I'm feeling it, I know somebody else had to feel it. That's all I'm gonna say. But so now I think we need to pass it over to Dean so that he can attempt to clarify.
Yeah, he was trying. Go ahead, Dean. I'll let Fi jump in. Come on, Dean. We're gonna be quiet. Let Dean talk. Because my brother do not like to be interrupted. Please do not interrupt him.
Exactly.
I will. I do want to say what I want to say, but Nero has been trying to say something for a while.
Yes,
so
I just want to get back to the topic, and
say.
I'm still going around here with feelings and about him. But I wanted to say that any and all of the situations that we are all talking about have dozens of other required long, painful, and emotional processing. Y'all keep forgetting that we're emotional beings. So in order for us to deal with it and going to be honestly and consciously being honest with somebody else, monogamous relationships are also complex. We're not going to say that they're not complex when all relationships are complex. The relationships you have with your siblings, a cousin, an uncle, somebody who did something bad to you are all complex situations. But polyamorous relationships multiply these problems with the more people added to it because it's unknowing of the emotional capacity that they hold. And y'all keep skipping over that. When I say things like y'all don't realize how devastating cheating could be, or if it was marriage that was often lacking, or that they remain in doubt, or there was a non-monogamy that was happening, a painful solution, the challenges within that is commitment and consciously being open and honest. You haven't asked, like I'm just saying because you was in general, but most people haven't asked the other partner what their intention or how they actually felt is. You've just gone about doing what makes you happy in the situation or what made you happy for that time and moment. People are not sitting in a relationship saying, hey, this is the other person that I'm starting to invest in. How you feel about it? They're not. And they're going to give the sugar-coated version because they still want to hold on to you. Like the way Shakila said earlier, they still have something to hold on to. There's not a real conscious honesty that's happening inside of these relationships. And sugarcoating it is not the way we're going to go about it either.
Okay.
We're talking about moral exemplars within people's mindsets and the capacities of what that holds for each person in the relationship. There's always going to be a hierarchy inside of that relationship. There's always going to be a person who's lacking something inside of that relationship. There is not any sense mathematically, substantially, or scientifically that you can spare yourself in such a way that everybody else's cup is full, including yours.
All right, Dean, come on. We're going to do Dean and then Boss Lady, we're going to come to you.
Now, with that being said, again, everybody was talking.
She spit the
and
thing.
what we need to do is we need to
somebody
really,
hit you with a can, bro. Look,
hit me
somebody hit a can.
It was you.
Listen, so what we really need to do is we really need to practice active listening, and that is the skill. I'm a professional talker. I get paid to talk. That's what I do. I do get paid to talk. I get paid in some instances to yell. Some instances I get paid to scream at kids. Some instances I get paid to scream while I'm kicking the door in. I get paid for my vocalizations. That's what I do. And I choose my words very, very carefully. So now, when I said weak, that word weak triggered everybody that got triggered and did not even allow them to finish here to hear who I was saying was weak. What was I calling weak? Now, if you get mad because I say the word weak forcefully, that is not on me. But what is on you is for you to allow someone to finish their conversation before you come to a conclusion of what they've said. Now, I didn't say at one time that to be poly, you had to be weak minded. I never said that. As a matter of fact, I have said repeatedly up on this stage that historically, the mightiest men in history had multiple wives. I've said that 1,000 times. So at no point at any time did I say to be weak minded or to be poly was to be weak minded. At no point in time did I say to experience an abusive monogamous relationship was to be weak-minded. What I said was to be weak-minded was a person, and I'm talking in a general term, was a person who has spent in the exact year frame reference that I used then was 10 years. If a person has been married 10 years and then all of a sudden they wake up and they realize I don't want to be here anymore and they want to break their social contract because they are weak-minded, that is a person that needs some help. That's what I was going to say. And if anybody in here disagrees with that, I would care to really, really hear why you disagree with that. But it is
I think we
funny
need a
to
little bit
me.
more clarification on that.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do, y'all. Hold on. This is what
How
we're
much
gonna do
more
because I
clarification do you need? I can't keep track.
hold on.
disagree with
So
that.
this
You asked
this
about it.
Well,
this what
I
we
can't help but you disagree.
Okay, so
with
this
me.
what we
That's
gonna
on
do.
you.
You said you
I'ma
wanted
give.
to hear it though.
Listen, I
But you
disagree.
said-
Listen,
but
I
you
don't
said
like
you wanted
ranch
to hear it,
dressing. I
though.
think blue cheese is better. But hey, that's my
However, but
opinion.
you
I ain't got
also
nothing to.
did say
They ain't
that
got
you would
nothing to do
like
with
to
nobody else.
hear why that person felt like they disagreed. Correct?
I wasn't even talking about you. So why did you get
I'm the
offended again?
person who disagrees. You said you would like to hear.
What did
from
you
the person
disagree
who
with, baby? If I
disagreed.
won't talking to you, what did you disagree with?
Okay, hold on. Okay, hold
That's
on. This is what we gonna
one-sided
do.
as fuck,
Yeah.
then.
So
That's
okay, so
one-sided.
can I get some confetti? Okay, so
So
listen,
that's
everybody,
how did you get offended?
everybody,
That's
hold on.
biased.
Can I get some confetti?
I
So
don't
look,
understand.
the first Iamchekela show that aired was about meta cheating and meta relationships, and it kind of went on so bad that I had to do a part 2. Can y'all show me some confetti? Do we need to do a part 2 next Friday of these poly relationships?
Hey, let's do it.
Because I have to wrap it up. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna bring back I'm gonna bring back Pervy, I'm gonna bring back West Side, Price, Neuro, and Dean if they agree. We are gonna do part 2. I'm gonna let Boss Lady speak, and then I got to close out. This is my fault because we started late. I had some technical difficulties. But we are going to do this again next week on time at the right time. So, Boss Lady, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna give my panel what they need before they go, and then we gonna clear. Y'all, we have been digging deep right now, and so yeah. So come on,
It's
Boss
good,
Lady.
though. It's good for the soul. You're
Good
muted.
for the soul.
You're muted.
You on mute,
Yeah,
baby.
muted,
You on
Bob.
mute. You on mute.
Okay, can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just would like to say this was I don't know anything. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. I don't know anything about poly. Nobody but poly want a cracker. I'm just be honest with you.
Polyester.
I have no clue. Polyester want a cracker. I don't know anything about that. But I will say that this was very interesting. It was very enlightening, and I believe that it was very timely and that it was very needed. But with that being said, we have to build a place that we can fully listen to each other intelligently, meaning that we got to be able to listen and understand and process what's being said. Okay, when Dean, I'm happy to be married to Dean of almost 20 years. Sometimes Dean does come off very loud to some
Abrasive.
people, abrasive. Lay made a comment and she said, you know, you yelling all the time. That happens to not be Dean, because I have the privilege of being married to him and listening to him every day. So that does not explain him. But what I will say is, when Dean made the comment about being needed, about being weak, that didn't bother me because I don't feel like I'm weak. But when Johnny said needed, that bothered me because I've had situations and times in my life that I was needed. Doesn't make any sense what I'm saying. So what I had to do was, instead of walking away being mad with him or mad with Dean, because when Dean said it, I can be honest, it did pinch me just a little bit. But instead of walking away being mad, I had to have the opportunity to think to myself, what is it that I need to fully process? Because the only way something can really hit you that hard if it's something else is really there. That's why when Johnny said needy, it reminded me of all those moments that I was very, very needy. So I thought, wow, he gonna say needy. But because he said it with a low tone, it kind of went over some people's head and nobody got offended. But him and Dean said the same thing. It was two different words, but they said the same thing. But because Dean was yelling, it was taken out of context. And sometimes me and Dean, I can speak for both of us. We're in the metaverse, and one thing we don't want to be, not that we don't want to be attached to us, but we don't walk around like Reverend, Holy, whatever. We don't walk around like that. We come in here and we enjoy the space. And Dean said, sometimes I am loud because I am a pastor. I am a coach. I am a bail bondsman. And the only thing somebody caught over to was, the thing that everybody caught on to was him saying the pastor.
Yep.
That was the piece that everybody saw caught, you know. So then the negative connotation started, you know. Okay, Reb, da 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 da. It's not about that. Like y'all said, if we're gonna deal with the community, we got to learn how to deal with the community, and we got to take some lickings, and we got to keep on ticking. We can argue all day long, but if somebody that's in this audience that really needed to hear, understand, and talk about what was on the table tonight. So now I want to make it personal. La, I don't know about your situation. I don't know you, but what I will do is I will take an opportunity to you can walk to the side and we can pray about some things, because I cannot have anything to do. I don't know nothing about what you had to deal with, but I will say this. On behalf of Dean, I will apologize to you if you thought Dean was talking to you, and I apologize to you if that offended you, because that's what real women do.
All right now. Okay, that's my big sister. Hello. Hey, I want to thank my panel. I love y'all, but listen, y'all did an amazing job, and I know this was not easy. We come up here, we talk about things, we are being transparent, we show our emotions, our feelings, we talk about our personal business that, you know, there's somebody out there right now that either need it or they're going to use it for something different. But I do want to thank each and every one of y'all for being here. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to continue this. We're going to do this again next Friday. I call it polymeta. Is it a thing or not? We're going to talk about this again. We're going to talk about this again next Friday. So y'all got time to come with your questions and all of that. But once again, like Boss Lady said, I do this because I want y'all to know who I am, but I also want to do this is because it's a community thing for me. There's things within relationships, sexuality, and I feel like women, we think we know everything about men, and you don't. You've been single and you've been by yourself or whatever. You've been married to however you've been married to the same one. You don't know everything, and when we come together, we get different dynamics, and that's why I always say, once again, you give people grace because their perspective is their experience. That's all they know. Just dive in for a second. And like Dean said earlier, are you listening to be right, or are you listening to understand? Ask yourself that question when you're talking to somebody and you are on the defense. Are you listening to understand, or do you just want to hurry up and jump in and be right and tell your point? Because at that point, we're going to just keep going back and forth. But anyway, my name is Shakila, better known as Iamchekela. I thank you for coming out. I got you. We're going to do it again. We all we got, and we out.
We out. Sophisticated ignorance.
I'm done with you.
Thank y'all.
Listen, we gotta head over to two spaces I wanted to show you. So make sure don't forget because I need to show you.
I got you.
Library.
I'm gonna do that.
And the other one is called the Nook Hideaway. So we're gonna go to both places. Okay. Bring your wife and party up until that way you can see both places.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, we not. BT, we're gonna do that before we leave. Hands down.
We is friends on
Y'all
that.
gonna come back next
Let
week.
me head up.
You know what got on me though.
Huh?
How you doing?
Yeah, I'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
be back.
Wes, let me see that invite.
Nothing much.
What did it do, my boy? Everything
I
good?
appreciate y'all.
Everything good?
Oh, yeah, man.
Everything good?
Hey, look.
Everything good? Everything good?
Everything good, bro.
Perv, what it do, my boy?
Oh, yeah, we got
What it do? What it do?
Everything, let me
It's all
make sure
love.
we're friends then. Oh, it's all love, baby. It's all love. This was a great show tonight, man.
At the end of the day, all I want is a mutual understanding. Or some kind of
And listen,
understanding
man.
between both.